Oh, hello, hello, hello. Sorry, everybody. I want to apologize for all the. I had some technical difficulties. I actually, well, not technical difficulties. I just put it on the wrong channel, and so I had to get that situated. Chris should be joining us soon, so I just wanted to go ahead and hop on here. And I figure I'll give it a little bit of time, let some people file in here because I know they got no notification for this since I put it on the wrong channel. So I'm gonna give it a minute. My apologies again. Um, let's try a different background tonight since I feel like the machine is against me. Let's go with this one. Let me know what you guys think of the background. All right, so making sure that we're up on the rock fins also. Sure, Chris will be in shortly. I guess I can go on ahead and kind of detail the show, what tonight's topics are. We are going to be talking. Yes, the machine is definitely against us, Hamza. Um, Weird background. I know it's the agents. The agents are out to get me. Let's see. Let me try another one. Let's see if you like. Let's see. I like this one too. When Neo was seeing the code, I figured Chris might use this one, so I kind of don't use it. But I know it. I know which one. I'll go back to my monitors. I think I like my monitors. Or him and the. There. You know what? Since we're going to be fighting back tonight, how about we go with this one? Let's go to the dojo. We're gonna go to the dojo. Or no, I'll just stick with my monitors. Stick with the monitors. Let's see. All right, cool. So we got the monitors back up and running. So tonight's show, of course, we're going to talk about the attack on the Kremlin. I will leave it at that for now until we get into it. Of course, you guys know King Charles was crowned. We will get into that. Kind of wanted to share my thoughts a little bit about the whole Jordan Neely situation. Whew, excuse me. For those who are not familiar with the Jordan Neely situation, that was the man that was choked out in the train. You know, the Michael Jackson. I don't want to call him necessarily impersonator. I guess. I mean, guess you can. I think he was just kind of doing the dances and to try to collect money because he found that that was a talent he could do, replicating the dances. Um, so I did want to talk about that a little bit. And then I know you guys see the other thumbnail that I have on there. It is Howard Stern. I know you're like, Howard Stern? Why are we talking about Howard Stern? Well, Howard Stern made some interesting comments, and I kind of wanted to reply to those. So that's the subject we're going to get into tonight. Yeah, so Chris should be in shortly. I see we got four watching on the so we got four watching over on the Rockfin side. I see Rockfin is quite delayed. So my apologies to anybody who's coming in on the Rockfin side. If you give me a comment and it takes me a while to respond to you, it looks like you guys might have almost a minute delay at least, whereas normally it's like a good maybe 20 seconds. But that is what it is. All right, now I see people are starting to file in here. Mr. Streets, what's good? Oh yeah, for those who don't know, I've been doing some more stuff on TikTok, and I will be doing more and more on TikTok. So I'm not going away necessarily from YouTube. Definitely not at this point. I don't know if YouTube. If I find out a way to start streaming on YouTube, I might start doing the. I might start doing some of the live streams on the onto TikTok, or maybe even Instagram if that's possible. But I don't know, so I'll be doing it. You doing well on TikTok? Thanks, Hamza. Thank you, sir. And I just hopefully some of the people who follow over here will go over there. I mean, if you guys will listen to us for sometimes up to 3 hours straight, then you guys can check out a 10-minute or less video from me. That's the kind of stuff that I probably typically would have done on Been Thinking with Young Morpheus. I just find that I'm so stifled on the YouTube side that it's more beneficial right now going on TikTok. Don't do it on IG; they'll take you down. Got it. Thank you. So I'll experiment with TikTok, but let's go on ahead and get this party started. Sure, Chris will be in shortly. Really get down to understanding this political matrix.
Out there, the stunt double. He walked out. He's got an oximeter on his back. I'm like, you gotta keep other. Marcus said on his other show. He was like, American politics is simply pro wrestling.
He became afraid of everyone because people were reporting on each other.
We're living out Minority Report too as well. And you know what? You know why we know that, boss? Because we've been reporting on it. Yeah, I know.
All the black people in this country be willing to take a reservation.
That's what the Nation of Islam was asking for.
Put a couple of clips together.
It's crazy to see how much Martin Luther King really began to look like, damn, man, Malcolm was fucking right.
I mean, what is the elite's end game?
There's this assumption that as a black commentator or a black journalist that you're not informed.
Relationships, that's a skill we have to learn.
It's even more kind of mind-blowing because we're supposed to be the multicultural space.
Trying to drum up money to keep the war machine going so they can keep the donors happy.
Yeah. Do the Chinese own part of that?
This began a long time ago. Ukraine has had a neo-Nazi problem for decades.
Proof of sanction, am I right?
I don't know if Domcopters will do it, but something's got to be able to save the world.
From the private industry here.
Like I say, people come on here and they can say stuff they don't normally say on their own shows, which is fine.
Oh, it's McDonald's. Whoop-de-doo.
Ooh.
And their cholesterol is going to go down. Yeah, good.
Look, we only exist because we have the biggest military, kid.
And silencing a person like Julian Assange. Because it affects everybody. And today, last week, believe you me, because they know who you are. They watch. They got people that's going out there. They don't want you guys having the conversations that you're having on this show. Mm-hmm. So it affects the political matrix today.
All right, we got a man in here. What's up, Mr. Lawson? How are we doing, sir?
Yo, what's good, man?
Yeah, I was telling him like some of the confusion and mix-up that I had going on. I didn't even remember doing anything on that other channel to log into it. I was pretty certain, like the last time that I was on this one, so I just hopped straight back on StreamYard and then did the show, but didn't realize I did it on the wrong one. My apologies. I see Wesley is in the house. Good to see you, Wesley. I think I saw Streets in here, Hamza. And shout out to everybody else. Yeah, it's not Chris's fault that I'm running behind.
What's going on, y'all? Hey, Marcus, you know what? I spent the last 5 days off the grid, completely off the grid.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Let everybody know why you were off the grid. What was going on?
Yo, on Sunday, as I'm talking shit during the who played Sunday? Was it the Knicks? I think I can't remember. Anyway, I'm in my like little group chat with my uncle and my homie, and we talk about the games. I put the phone down. I was in the bed, actually. I put the phone down. When I picked the phone back up, the screen was all white, hyper white, bright white that you couldn't even really look at it. So, I turned it off, and, I know where the buttons are. So I turned it off. I let it sit for a little while, turned it back on. Phone was still white. Couldn't see a goddamn thing. So, I called T-Mobile, all that new phone. They messed up with my address and all some other shit. So I didn't have a phone until yesterday evening. So I was no email, no Twitter, no calls, no texts, no WhatsApp, no nothing. I had a couple places to go during the week. Like my cousin graduated from nursing school on Thursday down in Davie. I'm not familiar with Davie. Marcus.
I'm familiar with Davie.
Yeah. Marcus, I felt like it was 1997. I was at work printing MapQuest directions.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, and then I left. And then Marcus, I left the office, right? And I got to the light right before I turned on the highway. And I was like, oh, shit, I don't know where I'm going. I looked, I didn't have the directions. I had to make a U-turn, go back to work, get the damn paper.
Now you think, oh, shit, I really better start paying attention when I'm driving.
Like, or
I'm going.
Well, the funny thing is, I know how to get to Davie. Just the particular place I was going, I didn't have any idea. I know I just keep going down to Fort Lauderdale Airport and then head west. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want to get lost.
Hamza said, why do I use WhatsApp? If you have friends abroad, better use Telegram. Oh, Hamza, you got to tell that to all the Panamanians and Jamaicans and Haitians and the rest of them.
Latinos in general. Latinos don't really they don't even know about Telegram, a lot of them. Like WhatsApp.
Yeah, and you know what? I make fun of my own family, because they don't say WhatsApp, they WhatsApp. So they be like, my WhatsApp is acting up. I'm like, I don't know what that is, so I can't help you.
You got the Budweiser?
Yeah, I'll be fucking with them. You know what I'm saying? I'll be teasing all the immigrants.
You gonna get messed up around there. You in that heavy immigrant area, and not to mention family. You set yourself up on both sides.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I don't care. We got jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
They make fun of us too. Because all of us who are first generation born here, like me and my cousins and stuff, they make fun of us.
I know exactly what it is. They don't spare no mercy.
No, they call us Yankees and all that other kind of shit.
Gringo.
Yeah, my father introduced me to his friends and was like, "Oh, this is my mijo gringo." I was like, "Yo, that's fucked up." I was like, "Damn, Pops, you took it. Shots fired."
Man, so I don't know if you saw the topics that I put together for tonight.
Moscow attack, Charles crowned, Jordan Neely, and more. Yeah, I don't know about the attack on Moscow. I saw a headline about.
See, I know you've been out of the loop, so you might not know what's going on.
None.
None.
But Marcus, what's funny is that I don't sync all my things because, I just don't. You don't want people getting into your shit, so I don't sync anything. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, like I really had no phone numbers, no nothing. Like this shit is crazy. I just set up my Instagram and Twitter. I just literally set back up probably around 12 or 1 o'clock this afternoon. And I haven't even used it.
Individually?
Huh?
You doing all that stuff individually each?
Yeah, correct.
No.
So now I got two phones, and then look, they end up sending me two phones. So now I got S23 and a brand new S20. So now I'm like, now I'm too rich.
So I figure, let's go ahead and get the Moscow out of the way first.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. And just for, it's almost like receipt purposes, we gotta put the video out there for those who have not seen it. I'm pretty sure most of y'all have seen it by now. I mean, I literally was looking up news stories the other day and going through different stuff. And if you go, because like when I have YouTube on my TV and I'm watching it, you can go into the news section. And when it goes through just scrolling through all the different like local and then world news, it literally makes it's like maybe 4 or 5 topics. That's it. All of them are covering the same thing. Like you have this, in which we kind of have to talk about it. You have they're talking about Sotomayor, and then they're talking about Clarence Thomas, the Hunter Biden thing, and COVID being downgraded.
That I did. So because I didn't have, I didn't have my.
In that kid some kid who like stabs a bunch of people out here in California.
Oh shit! I was gonna say because I didn't have my phone, I was forced to listen to the radio. So I did hear them mention yesterday about the World Health Organization downgrade, saying that COVID is no longer like a pandemic or an emergency.
Yeah, I think it's no longer a pandemic, but they're saying, oh, but it's still around. Be very scared and weary. So.
Yeah, and then the lady on the radio had said all of the testing and vaccination sites are shut. Are now, there's no more. So
probably no more free ones. You probably have to go to the hospital for them.
Correct. Yo, Trez, what's up, man?
What's up, homie?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I heard on that. And after how hardcore YouTube went at anybody who even brought up anything or even had a question about anything, they were yanking channels down. I mean, on the other channel, I still have a warning for a COVID video, which people now are talking about and saying the same stuff that I was saying back then. I mean, or maybe it's over. It's almost 2 years old now. And so this video is still, this warning is still on my channel from that. And I think that also has to do with why views are struggling so bad. I don't know. I've noticed since this new CEO, I can definitely see changes. I mean,
and for the good, or for the bad?
I would say for the bad. I mean, if you're an independent content creator, or if you're somebody who's trying to do, if you're covering news and politics in any kind of ways, then I would say it's bad. Remember how they said they were going to go towards more authoritative, air quotes, content? Well, that's what you're seeing. And not only that, you're only being fed the top channel.
Official narrative.
Well, I mean, even see, my issue is, okay, fine. You want to force us to only be able to listen to these handful of people. Can we get more than the same stories from all of them?
That part.
Do I need to have Fox's version, CNN's version, MSNBC's version, CBS's version, ABC's version of the this Moscow drone thing and NPR? Do I need to have all of them just only on this one topic? Give me some different topics that are going on at least. There are so many other things going on in the news. Now, granted, all of them aren't necessarily huge stories. I mean, I think that there was a giant earthquake in Japan, which nobody's talking about. They're like they had 6.9, and they were worried about a possible tsunami. Did we hear about that? Nope. Of course, some of them have been talking about Sudan, but they're covering it all from the same exact lens. If you've heard one story, you heard it all. It's basically the same narrative that comes from the Associated Press.
Wait, what did Hamza just write? Did he just say that Iran jumped on the social shit?
Credit store. It's possible. Yeah. Oh yeah, Hamza, I know you sent me something. Let me know. Is this something that's going to get me in trouble? First, because I see it's Rizza Islam. It says Iran is WEF too.
Oh yeah, they get loans.
Well,
Look, go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as much as these guys, the Irans of the world, the rest of them who are kind of adversarial with the United States, or the United States is adversarial towards them. The thing about it is they may talk that shit about the U.S., but then you start looking at them and it's like, oh, you do business with the World Economic Forum, you do business with the World Bank, you do business with the IMF. So yeah, you could talk shit, but you still paying them same people who are fucking you over. So you know.
Well, I would say my only pushback would be everybody has to for right now. I mean, think about it. Even people who plan to overthrow their leaders, you still got to play ball until that point when you're gonna stage that.
True.
Or like even
right.
They'll call it a mutiny. If you're gonna have a mutiny on a ship, you can't be like telling the captain, "Screw you, captain. I don't give a damn what you talking about." You gotta be, yes, captain. Aye. You gotta be the whole time up until that last moment.
Until you're ready to say fuck you. Pardon me. Until you're ready to say F you.
And I'll give you I'm gonna bring back some nostalgia for you. I don't know. You might remember this. You should remember this. Remember Hoodlum? Dutch Hoodlum.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And you remember
That's
how
right.
his man who set him up drove. I mean, I'm talking about Arthur Flegenheimer, Dutch
Flegenheimer. Arthur Flegenheimer.
He waited till the last minute. He's sitting up there eating ice cream sundae.
Oh yeah.
And then takes him out. But
and then Tim Roth.
That moment.
Tim Roth was eating the ice cream, and his right hand man. He's so he took care of his ass in the in the bathroom.
Yeah. And up until that moment, he had no clue that his man was the one that was gonna flip on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's a fact.
I think about I'll give you another one that pops. I don't know why this is so far off, but do you remember Paul Walker Running Scared?
Oh, yo, that is my movie, and so many people have not seen it.
So many people sleep on that movie. So many people sleep on it.
They sleep on that movie. That was probably one of his better movies. It's for sure better than. It's for sure better than anything he did on Fast and Furious.
I mean, outside of Fast and the Furious, what does he have? What, Joyride? Outside of Fast and Furious, what he has, what, Joyride and what else?
Yeah, there's only probably a handful, but no, Running Scared, that's my movie. I'll be trying to put everybody onto that. But it's not easily it's not on TV often. So I actually bought the movie years ago.
I bought it years back.
Yeah, so did I.
But you remember what happened when they were taking it was him and the other dude. I can't remember his name. I can see his face. Blonde haired guy. He's taking him out in the field, the one with the mustache. And then Paul Walker thinks that he's about to get capped. And the last minute, he turns it and shoots. Oh boy.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. When these situations are going like that, everybody will think everything's all copacetic and cool until the last minute when it's time to flip. Because you got to play your part the whole way. You cannot tip your hand or you get caught.
It's true.
I mean, I don't know why I keep wanting to bring up all these different movies and shows. Do you watch Raising Kanan?
Come on, man. Marcus, from the onset of Raising Kanan, that shit is all in Queens. That's all my neighborhood. So of course I'm gonna watch Kanan. Like I'll be watching Kanan. Like,
remember old boy that lost the eye?
Mm-hmm.
There's some. We about to get you this new spot, and we're gonna set you up over here. And he was like, "Oh shit, this is fly." And then Rock out at the last minute.
You gotta go.
You gotta go. And he did not see none of that coming at all. And that's
well,
what
you know, they told him stay out the gambling spot. Don't gamble.
You are
hot.
You want to stay in the gambling spot, and then you get caught up. And the messed up part about it was his mama, the one that was narking.
Yeah, because they all degenerates who got habits. You know what I'm saying? So those are the easiest people to prey on.
I'm sorry, we over here spoiling movies, man. We might have to come up with another channel just to talk movies and shit.
Hey, I'm with it. We need one to talk sports and basketball too, because these playoffs.
We're gonna talk about it because we're gonna talk about it. I mean,
Marcus, and you know we're gonna get to it, but Marcus, I think this shit is fixed, man. Like I hate to think that with my sports, this shit is fixed though. Like it really is.
But remember, I tried to tell you that. Now, keep in mind, y'all are looking at somebody who is wearing a Chiefs hat.
Exactly.
Looking at a Chiefs fan telling you, what did I say in the playoffs? Did I not predict who was going to be in the Super Bowl and who was going to win it?
Playoffs. Your boys won.
Before, I mean, I want to say even before the playoffs started, I was like, yeah, it's going to be Eagles and Chiefs are going to win. If people are looking at me like, what are you talking about? No, this and I'm like, no, look at the story. Look at the story. It's too perfect. Can you think of a better narrative than maybe when the bus went to Detroit and won the Super Bowl in his hometown?
Oh yeah, I know, right?
I told people, if you think about what just happened the last couple of years, you know, I want to put this disclaimer out here. In no way are we talking about COVID. This isn't about COVID. Okay, I want to just put this disclaimer out there for the people who censor and watch. Oh, that's right. You guys don't censor our show. You guys monitor our show carefully and make sure we don't say anything awry. Well, all that said, I just found it kind of interesting that the NBA, the year that they were in the bubble, was one of their lowest rated seasons by far. It was just horrible. And the next year, it even had a hard time picking up viewership. Well, what did you see the NFL do? Somehow Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, and the Super Bowl just happens to be in Tampa Bay. He wins. Now, I know to people who are casual fans, they might not understand it. That is not normal. There's only been like one time before that a team has won the Super Bowl in their home. That's only like one time, and we're talking about like 60 years. Only once that's happened. Well, what did you have? You literally just had Tampa Bay win in their home city, and then you had the LA Rams turn around and win in LA right after that. That I was like, no, you're not fooling me with that. In both situations, you know what happened? A quarterback who's supposed to be a prominent, really good quarterback leaves, goes to this team, and now they happen to just win the Super Bowl. And then it happened again. The same thing happened with Matthew Stafford. He left from Detroit, went to LA, and now they won. And what happened to both of those teams? The next year after Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay Bucks were garbage. The very next year after the Rams won the Super Bowl, they were garbage because they weren't. It was. I'll let you guys explain how you think that they probably do it. I have my theories. I don't think that they outright tell every player to, okay, you're going to drop this pass here. You're going to miss this tackle here. But what they do is key pivotal moments, certain things are called, certain things are not called. And that's how I think it works. Oh, you're on mute, Chris.
You know, the thing about it is the outcome may or may not be fixed, but definitely the scoring in some of these things that's because there's a lot of betting.
Spread.
Scoring. You got the line for every single sporting event. You got the line that come out. You know what I'm saying? +7, -2. It's a push. You know what I'm saying?
That's the reason why also you see less and less of these combat sports go to you see less and less of them being TKOs and KOs, and a lot more of them being go to the decision and the scorecards. Because you can play in the score, you can play around the scorecards.
Oh, speaking of which, Marcus, did you see the highlights from the Tank Davis Garcia fight at all?
Yes.
So that punch that Tank hit Garcia with, dog, that wasn't something for him to go sit down like that. He got hit, he bounced around for a little bit, and then all of a sudden he took a knee. He went to 10, and then after 10, he got right up and was, walking around fine. Again, that's another fixed shit.
My assessment on that was sometimes it's not that the punch did it. Sometimes mentally you're done. What I was watching in that fight is I was watching a dude not be able to handle and not be able to figure out a fix to what was going on in that ring. And
correct.
I think he bowed out. I think.
Well,
I'm not going to say that the punch did not take him down. I'm not going to say it didn't make him have to take that knee. I'm saying he could have got up before the 10 count and kept going. Because I'm telling you, I've taken those kind of punches. They hurt. It don't even have to seem like it's that hard. It's the fact of when you're throwing a punch with all you have and taking that punch at the same time. It makes it.
If when people go back and look at it, Tank wasn't even fully set. He didn't really deliver the hardest body blow that he could have. And then the other thing is, it just so happened it was such a coincidence. Tank was saying in the lead up to the fight, he's going to put him down in the 7th. All of a sudden, here comes the 7th. Homeboy's down. I'm just saying.
He's going to put him down with a body shot too, because he saw that Pitbull Cruz took him down that way. Dropping. We're getting so derailed. I'm pretty sure the audience is like, I didn't tune in to hear this crap. I'm sorry, y'all. We'll get back on topic. But I mean, if the system is fixed, it's not too far-fetched that the sports are going to be fixed also. I mean,
correct. This is another, and lastly, the last thing I'll say is that this is not something where you need everybody to be in on it, right? Nope. You only need but a small amount of people in on this.
And how many times?
And I'm saying it works better. It works better, and it looks more authentic when most of them are not in on it.
Mm-hmm. All you need to have, like say for end up I can't even talk. NCAA. I'll just say that. When it comes to like some of these college basketball teams, all it takes is for one player to start shaving points. All it takes, and then the other team.
And you don't have to give up the win, or you don't have to take the loss either. You know what I mean? Like, just as long as the points stay within, whatever the odds are, then you good.
Hamza says these other organizations are not rigged like the UFC. Hamza, I know some people who know some people, and the politics behind the scenes with the UFC is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Bare knuckles is cool. I just know I would never fight in bare knuckles. I think these people are insane.
Oh no, we're not doing bare knuckle unless we outside, like, and it's for real, for real. Other than that, I ain't doing that shit. You got me fucked up.
Yeah, you setting yourself up for a lot of damage.
I'm not even in good enough shape to do that. So hell no, we're not even playing that. I'll call Marcus.
Even if you win the fight, you still lose the fight. Let's see. So I guess Rasheed Ball is correct. Yes, Thomas.
Thomas, what did Rashid say? Ball don't lie.
Chris H. The sports talk for a bit is interesting. Interesting diversion, adds more dimension, humanizes you guys more. It's a nice contrast and a bit of fun.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, thank you. We'll throw in a little bit more mixture. I think I do realize that when I'm watching other channels, it is kind of cool to hear some of their interests and realize like, okay, they are a real person. They don't just sit there and just study news all the time and extremely boring people. Like they do live, and they might be somebody that I wouldn't mind catching a beer with in real life. Which, if any of you guys are in the LA area, let me know. I wouldn't mind, because I've been trying to think about. I would like to do a live event where people can come out, have a cookout, meet some of the people. But I don't know enough people out in this area to do that. I probably have like one person show up. So if there are people who are interested in that, or if you know other content creators that have been talking about something like that who are in the LA area, tell them to reach out to me. We can set up some kind of collaboration and meet up with some people. That'd be cool. Mr. Street says, getting off strip is always fun. I love it when presidents get off. I love it when presidents get off script too. I love it when presidents can't spell either. Talking about, yes, it is EIGH 8. That was Biden, by the way.
Of course.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, Marcus, just this past week, some of the conversations I've had, like, it's a wrap for that dude. Even people who were like super supportive of him initially, even they are like, well, he doesn't look the strongest.
Shout out to Opus Comic. Shout out.
Oh yes.
I look at it like this too because RFK, I don't know if people have been paying attention, but his numbers have just jumped up some more. And it's not even that he has to win. It's if he really does decide, you know what? They're not going to do a primary and I'm going to keep on going. So even if they decide, you know what? We're not going to do a primary, and he decides to go independent. If he can get more than 10% of that vote, it's over for Biden. And I tell people this all the time. Well, I tell certain Republicans, normally when I'm having these discussions on Twitter, and they'll respond, we don't care. We don't want your votes anyway. It's not about, you're not getting my vote. The Democrats aren't getting my vote. None of you guys are getting my vote because I don't believe in the system. I don't believe it's real at all. I think it's just as fixed as these sports contests that we've been talking about are. But if you Republicans who don't believe it's fixed, or libertarians or whatever, just make nice with some of these people. They don't realize right now the Black community is probably the most pissed off they've been at the Democratic Party since the Dixiecrats. That right now is the prime opportunity. Even if you can get one or two to possibly consider voting for a Republican. If you can even get them, even if they do it this one time, like, I should have knew these damn Republicans are bastards wasting my time. Even if you do it, you can hurt Biden and increase your chances of winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I get on Twitter and I run into these people and it's like, do you guys realize the comments and the way you guys carry yourself literally will force people to go back out and pull the lever for Biden, even though we cannot stand him. Now, I'm just going to, it's going to be what it's going to be. But y'all are doing yourself such a disservice. And I guess remind me to bring back up that topic about the Republican thing at some point. I know Chris H is pretty good at keeping us on the line, which is a boxing term. You guys know if you don't know, or just combat sports in general. But remind me to come back to that because I want to show you guys some tweets that I was dealing with. Chris H says, agree, the black community is always overlooked for so many. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just star this comment. Star this one, and we'll come back to it. Marcus, you need to have Dr. Shiva on this show. Well, I mean, I leave it open to anybody who will come on the show. They have to want to come on the show, though. A lot of times, since our platform's not very big, we don't attract a lot of different people. And I'm not trying to say this messed up, but some of the people who are more right-leaning, independent, they're not geared to even look in the direction of people our complexion. So we're not even on the radar.
They don't. And you know, this is why I also say they're full of shit too. They only look at people like you and I if we are like completely anti-democratic party and have I would even say like at least
we got to be Larry Elders.
Yes.
Herschel Walker type.
Correct. We have to be stupid. We got to be stupid Negroes who hate the Democrats, but find no fault with the Republican Party and especially Donald Trump. Then they will come and talk to us. Marcus and I are far too sharp to deal with those people on that level because we're just not stupid. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying we're the sharpest or the brightest or the smartest or anything like that. However, we're not spoons in the knife drawer either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we would offend them easily because we don't go along with the bullshit that they be on. You know, I'm not crying about they're gonna take our guns. They're gonna take our guns. You know, we're not on that stupid shit. So they really wouldn't want to talk to us. Same thing with like
well, another thing, and then we push back on some of that racial stuff, which some of them still got some race problems which they don't get. They still got some of that conservative propaganda bullshit going on. Even though they've left some parts of it, they still are buying some of these damn narratives. Heard somebody the other day talking about, oh yeah, and their EBT cards and stuff.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, and not for nothing, they talk that shit, but you know, if we just going by sheer numbers, white folk is on welfare more than any other group in the country. I'm just saying. And that's not, I'm not shitting on white folk. I'm just saying for those people who talk shit about people who look like Marcus and myself being on welfare, you probably need to check your auntie and uncle. They probably not doing so good. Send them a few dollars. And even the people, Marcus, like real quick, even like a Hotep Jesus, right? Hotep is cool, you know, but he likes to play a stupid game with them so that he can get money out of them. Honestly, I don't have the desire to jerk people from their money. It would be nice to have a few extra dollars in my pocket, but I don't need to do it like that. For the people who jerk these people and confuse them out of their money, hey, more power to you. But for me, that's just not the road I want to go down.
Yeah, and we kind of missed the mark on, or maybe a couple of years past the whole gamer craze and the different stuff that a lot of these people hop on. Because I'd be like, really, there are channels where people just literally sit there and watch people play games. You're watching another place and play a game. Like I have a hard time understanding that concept. Just like channel with almost 100 million subscribers. Do you know what this channel does, Chris? Do you know what they do? It is a kid. It's two kids watching other kids. It's kids playing with toys. And so you have almost 100 million people subscribed to
that makes millions.
Huh? You said what?
He makes millions.
I
makes millions.
I couldn't believe it that there's channels where little kids just play with toys and other kids watch that. I'm like, that's what I did as a kid. I was broke watching other kids have toys that I didn't have. I mean, I don't see how that's entertaining. But hey, that's what I said. We missed some of these other niche markets which blew up because we don't play the video games and we're not just playing with toys. And I don't think Chris has cats and puppies that he can do puppy videos. Or I've seen some people cat, dog, and a monkey, and you dress it up with a diaper and have it cooked for the dog, and then you have a duck too. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot going on there. But oh yeah, the Twitter comment, one of them that I saw is about reparations. This lady was like, "Well, if they want reparations, tell them to work 50 hours a week for a year and get back to me." I'm like, "Bitch, I've been doing that shit. You know how many black people are working more than 50 hours a week for decades? I mean, some of the shit that I hear conservatives say, it's like, you guys are just fucking retarded."
They're just fucking brain dead, kid.
How I said that, and that might offend some people, but when I just hear some of the stuff that these people say, I'm just like, guys, or you guys just live in a propaganda-filled world where everybody is a caricature. All black people are just not working. All black people are up in Chicago committing 100% of the murders. There's nobody else committing murders up there. I mean, I don't know. But let's put up this. I don't know. Do you have something else to say on it before we go to the Moscow thing?
No, we can move on. We straight.
Oh, speak on it, Thomas. Speak on it. I gotta read Thomas' comment before we go into it. It says, people who follow or partake in the two-party system, none of them understand the colonial history that Black and Native folks have historically put up with. Yes. I got a TikTok that's kind of allude to some of that. So make sure you if you're not following me over there, Thomas, make sure to email me. I want to DM it to you, and I don't know, maybe if you're on there, I'd love to hear you do a stitch to it, or talk about it a little bit on your channel, because I got some stuff that I'm gonna push back on a little bit within my own community, and then some stuff I want to promote within my community and other communities. And so that's where I'm at.
Thomas woke up.
You said what?
I was saying Thomas.
And then Ari and Marion, Hotep, Washington.
Oh yeah, our boy Hamza got into it with Hotep Jesus a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. But let's put this video up. Where is it at? Oh, here. So, I don't know if you've seen this video. Have you seen the video, Chris?
No, I haven't. This is my first time seeing this.
Yes, live reaction. I love it.
Okay.
So, video. Give one more time. Oh no, because it's a second drone came. Oh, I guess they only show the one. But anyway, a second drone that came. So the story is a drone came into a firecracker. A drone came into Moscow.
Yo, Streets just said firecracker. That shit look like a sparkler.
This is supposedly a drone which flew in, and it was blown up by Russian missile defense. Now, you have three different ways you can look at this. The story out of Moscow is they say this is, at first they said it was a Ukrainian drone. Then they said the U.S. did this. Then the U.S. is saying they didn't do it. Of course, like what's his name? I can't even think of his name, Volodymyr Zelensky. He profusely was like, no, we did not do this. And this time I actually kind of do believe it. Now, I don't know, in the chat, you guys let us know, what do you think actually happened? Do you think Ukraine snuck a drone in there and they caught it at the nick of time right before it was over the Kremlin? Do you believe that Russia allowed for this drone to get in there to strike it right before it gets close to the Kremlin? Or do you believe that this is a false flag?
Son, that shit look fake as fuck. How you ain't look for a country that is actively engaged in military theater, you know, and a country that's not far away from where they're from, you know, where their territory begins.
But at the same time, crossing into their territory is one thing, but getting all the way to the all the way to Moscow.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not close at all.
Come on, you just look again. You're supposed to be ready because you are currently at war, at least in part, right, with Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, you got all this way to the capital. I mean, look, let's just speak very plainly and clearly. Mm-hmm. That was something done in Russia for the Russian people, for their government to probably still to rally support amongst maybe some of the people who they may have been losing, who may not agree with whatever decision they've made in Ukraine. This is for them. Hey, guys, look, we're under attack. We have to be strong and we have to defend ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That's all it looks like to me. That's some internal political shit that, you know, the Kremlin has to do. But there's no way you're going to tell me that somebody flew a fucking drone from God knows where, your capital, and it just blew up there. You notice, like, the amount of damage it did? Did it even burn the flag?
No.
Oh, okay.
It hit the flag pole.
Please. That looked like it was... That looked like a firework. That looked like a stray firework.
Now, granted, that camera is probably very far away, and it made it look small from the distance. But also, I didn't see any kind of artillery shell. I saw no missile in the air, no shell. It just starts flying close and then blows up. That almost, to me, in my opinion, I could be 1,000% wrong. My opinion, what that looks like is, and here's another detail. Do you know that Putin was away from the Kremlin at this time?
How convenient.
Putin is away from the Kremlin.
Marcus, all this goes to show you is that, you know, when we think back about 9/11 and where everybody was, you know, this dude was here in Florida, right near the naval base, right near what was it, JSOC, right near the JSOC headquarters. He was in Sarasota. The JSOC headquarters are in Tampa. I mean, you spit from Sarasota to Tampa. You know what I'm saying? That's what Bush happened to be.
Right there too.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, you know, again, they playing with us because they know if you and everybody here saw it, that's about 16 of us, 17 of us. 17 of us saying, yo, it's fake, they could deal with that. If there's, you know, 83 other people saying, no, it's real, it's real. Well, fuck what we say.
Mm-hmm. I
thank you, Streets.
It's another episode of WWE. I mean, WWE. Yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like Thomas.
Marcus,
go
ahead.
Okay. Thomas says, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a false flag by the CIA. Well, what I believe it was is this drone, since it's in Russia and it's damaged, it's not like they're going to show you the drone. So they can tell you it's Ukrainian. You'd never know. I honestly believe it could be a Ukrainian drone, which they had in their possession. And they rigged it up to fly to where they wanted it, and they exploded it on its own. I don't think that's the reason why I don't think you see any kind of shell that's flying across, unless I missed that and didn't see it. But I didn't see any kind of shell hitting this. I just see it flying there and just randomly blowing up on its own. So that's why I would question, and I think that it wouldn't. And my reasonings for believing that Russia would do this is because a lot of their soldiers, the way that they're conscripted into the military, they have their contract system is very, very different. It's voluntary, but under certain circumstances, you can almost kind of say these people who are already conscripted for this amount of time, you can make them stay longer. You can take these people who are in a reserve capacity and push them forward. And then also, since this has never been officially declared a war in Russia, Putin can't just dictate and say, "Hey, I'm gonna take 500,000 people and just send them over there." He can't, because it's not officially a war, according to their own legislature. So therefore, his hands are tied as far as how many troops he can actually use. That's the reason why he's getting these drones from Iran and all these other places. But if it raises to the level, then he could automatically conscript more troops to finish this thing off faster. He can also get more weapons flowing faster. And tied into this, people have been going into that leader of the Wagner group who was saying that he's going to pull back from Bakhmut. Sorry. He's saying that he's going to pull out of Bakhmut if he doesn't get more weaponry, which from what I've heard from different people, this is somebody who's just, this is all political. This political song and dance this guy's doing, that they don't actually have an issue with getting the supplies that he wants. This guy is making a bigger deal so he can try to make Putin look bad, because he believes that this can be a political opportunity for him to be a political opposition to Putin for people who might be against Putin on this war, which is technically not a war according to the legislation inside of Russia. So if this attack is able to heighten things, then you could push for more troops, more supplies. You can ratchet things up. You can do a whole lot more. And I think because of this Bakhmut situation is taking longer to get done, they're pushing to try to speed this up in a sense. So I mean that's my thoughts. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You guys agree, disagree with what I'm saying? Miss Chief, hold on a second. Miss Drew says the shell would have been ejected from the gun, not the point of impact. What I'm saying is you would see a projectile. I'm not talking about the shell. I know that because you got the projectile itself and you have the shell. And that, of course, I get what you're saying, with discharge. But you would have to have some kind of projectile which is proceeding towards a target.
Mm-hmm. And Marcus, we just so happened to have the camera. The camera was just fixed at such an angle that it caught everything. So it's like really convenient all the way around.
Well, here's the thing. The camera pointing there isn't the biggest concern, because there are a lot of cameras which are pointing there. The issue is, why are we only seeing those couple of angles?
Yeah, there's nothing behind it on the other side.
We're not seeing the direction this drone came from. And you know why? Mm-hmm. If you're seeing the course that this drone took, you more than likely will see that it flew over, locations where more than likely there were sizable troops, there were anti-aircraft weapons, there were probably fighter jets that could have been scrambled, all kind of things. And so it would cause a lot more concern if it flew over an area which there was defense for to get that close. Just all we're seeing is, boom, it's just right here over the Kremlin. It leaves there's a lot of things that are being missed and left out of this. So that's what I wonder. Thank you, Chris. So that's what I'm thinking on that. I'm thinking that regardless, we're about to see a escalation on this front. Now, I don't know what the escalation is going to be. I don't know if that's going to be increase in troops, because here's one thing we have to keep in mind. Russia is not just fighting Ukraine. I know a lot of the shit lives. This is what they push. Oh, Russia can't even beat little old Ukraine. Not acknowledging how much Western help that they have. Because at this point right now, they are fighting NATO. Let's make no mistake about it. Russia is fighting NATO. They are fighting NATO troops. They're fighting against NATO weapons. They're fighting against NATO funding. In every way, they're fighting NATO. So, of course, they want to find a way that they can escalate this. Because right now, it's more at I don't even want to call it a stalemate. It's kind of like somebody has a loose submission on somebody. They got them locked, but because they don't have it completely good, they can't get to tap out. And so they just stay there in this kind of, we have the upper hand, but a long kind of stalemate. And eventually, of course, they're going to be able to get them to submit. But it's taking longer because they don't have a solid lock. Mr. Street says, oh, yeah, something is definitely in the works. Ground's drying up in that region, too. I agree. Wesley says, if it was a lobbyist-style plane, it could have been launched from a mere 20 yards. That's my point. Where did this drone come from? Are we saying this drone? In fact, let's look up something.
Hold on, Marcus. And Marcus, you know what's funny is the Russians are saying the United States are behind this. You know what? Not for nothing. The United States, if they were to do that, they would make sure they blow your shit up to smithereens. Just ask the people in Baghdad, Fallujah, and other places in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Panama, Colombia, Nagasaki, Hiroshima.
The shortest route.
Yeah.
523 miles. From the Ukrainian from the Ukrainian border to Moscow, the shortest route is 523 miles.
Yeah, okay. And you didn't see that 500 miles. Y'all ain't see shit for. Okay, yeah, whatever.
So we got
like those balloons.
At the shortest, from 500 miles, 520 miles to 615 miles. So somewhere in between there, you're saying that this thing was just flying right on across and nobody caught wind of that. Yeah, 500 plus miles and nobody seen that shit flying over their house. Exactly.
Streets, ain't nobody send a text to their neighbor like, yo, dog, you heard that? You seen that shit?
And I'm like, so you guys are going to tell me that right now, while there's war footing, that there aren't planes that are just sit up there just circling the airs in Russia looking for shit.
Correct. Like you don't have like at least even surveillance drones, up and about. I mean, come on. It's in the 21st century at this particular moment in their history and time. Nah, son, sorry, I ain't buying it. We can move on. I ain't buying it. Sorry. That was something.
That's why I don't buy the U.S. I believe this was
Look, and I don't know shit, but you know what? My assessment is going to be Russia did this for the Russian people, for the Russian propaganda. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And I would say yes for the propaganda, and yes for the possibility of escalating and being able to unlock more tools to use.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, let's move on to our next topic.
Okay.
Oh goodness, I hate talking about these fucking people. Let's go on ahead and talk about no, not the Democrats.
I said the devil.
Let's talk about the crown. I'm not going to show any of their pictures to this BS coronation thing. I'm not going to show any of that, but I do got a fun video that I want to show everybody. I do got a fun little video I want to show.
You're going to show the video of how they all have the same blood type and they all like really sick and look like really fucked up in the face because they just continue to
merge all
breed amongst themselves.
The sickle cell, not the sickle cell, but the what is it called when your blood is really thin? That's what they have. Man, I'm drawing a blank on it, but you guys know in the chat what I'm talking about.
I know it, and it's right there, and I just lost it. Shit.
Hemophiliac.
Yes.
So the fact that like it blows my mind that even Americans give a damn about this. You know. And right now,
what is this? Fibrosis?
All of that stuff comes from all that massive inbreeding.
Correct.
But this video right here, I want to share. Says the British Empire in 2 minutes. A little quick refresher for us. Now, of course, he didn't hit on every tone that I would have preferred him to hit on. There's some points he left out. But this is a good little funny informational video. 2 minutes.
The world, and right there in the middle of it is England, tiny little country with a big idea to take over everywhere else and become really, really powerful. So in 1583, a Tudor chap called Humphrey Gilbert lands over here in a newfound land called Newfoundland. He claims it for England, and so the empire begins. Ta-da! Sadly, he doesn't leave anyone there to look after it, and then he dies on the way home. So all in all, it's not a brilliant trip. But England tries again. In Stuart times, back across the Atlantic they go, and this time they claim Canada and the Caribbean, and most importantly, the east coast of America. Which means we finally have a British Empire, and everything's going awfully, awfully well. But not for long. The American states declare independence. Not only do they declare it, they fight for it, and they win. Oh, it's a disaster. So Britain has to go and try its luck somewhere else. Fortunately, Captain Cook discovers Australia. So Britain says, we'll have that, and also decides they would also like a bit of Asia over here. Yes, you see, there's a British business in Asia called the East India Company, which trades in things like tea and biscuits. Yummy, because everyone loves teas and biscuits, right? In fact, everyone loves it so much the company becomes big and powerful, it starts to take over entire countries. Plus, Britain wins the Napoleonic Wars against the French Empire, and they nab more countries off of them. Wait a minute, it seems the Indian people don't like being ruled by a tea company, and who can blame them? They decide to rebel. The British army, however, crushes the rebellion, and Queen Victoria takes over the country as Indian Empress, which don't impress the Indians. Ha ha! Meanwhile, over here, it seems that the Dutch won't share South Africa. Naughty, naughty. So Britain has a couple of wars down there, the Boer Wars, and gobbles up a few more countries along the way. In fact, by the time World War I breaks out, a third of all Africans are ruled by the British. And what's Britain's prize for winning the war? A load more countries, of course. I mean, just look at it all. A third of the planet run by one tiny island. But not for long. First to go are Australia and Canada and Egypt. And they demand to be recognised as equal countries, so they're out of the empire. And then the World War II happens. Britain wins, but we're completely broke. Boo! And you can't run an empire without money, especially when the people don't want you there in the first place. So India leaves. And everywhere else isn't far behind. 1948, an island goes, see ya, island, and then it's Sudan, bye Sudan, and then it's Cyprus, and South Africa, and Zanzibar, and Malta, then Singapore, then Fiji, then Hong Kong, then the screen goes dead, then the cat's put out, then the phone's unplugged, the lights go off, the milk gets cancelled, the gas is disconnected, and I have to hand back to Sam. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks, Bob.
So, that's a quick little run through. Oh, let me click. All right. Maybe my screen will let me click back over to myself. I don't know. You guys can see me or not. There we go. It took a while to catch up. Yeah, they missed New Zealand. They also missed they also missed when they took over that area, the Levant. That's a big area which they missed.
Correct.
Talking about the parents. Let's see. Lania Cannon says both of his parents are descendants of Vlad the Impaler. Huh? Who are we talking about here? Oh,
That's I think they're talking about the royal family.
I wouldn't be surprised because, you know, they talk about the Habsburg jawline. Well, he is Habsburg. So he goes back to the Habsburg family, which comes out of Germany. And a lot of those Habsburgs, which went to Germany, actually did come from Russia. So that would make sense. I think I've read something somewhere that of the top world leaders, like it was a staggeringly high amount of them are descendants of Vlad the Impaler. Well, did you ever hear anything about that, Chris?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, a lot of them are like, even like George Bush is like a descendant of Vlad the Impaler.
Never have.
I know that over 165 countries celebrate independence from Great Britain. Most of the world speaks English as a first or at least a secondary language because of that little bitty tiny place which went around conquering and running over everybody. It's this other video that I want to find and show you all. Let's see if I can find it. This lady, well, not this lady. It's a channel that I follow. Rachel Katapula. And she covers a lot of different videos that are on TikTok. And it was this Indian gentleman who was going in on Russia. Oh, Chris, you're on mute.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm listening.
And so I kind of wanted to share a little bit of that with y'all. I don't know. At any point, let me know when you want to pop in, sir. Let's see, is that it? Hold on. Yeah, I'll just go here and this isn't fun.
India.
So yeah, shout out to her for finding this video. I found that I don't know what this is, but I've noticed that a lot of channels out of Africa have been covering a lot of stuff on TikTok, especially having to do with colonization and race. And so this is where I come across some of these videos. So shout out to them for doing this work. So let me make it big. Yeah, at any point you want me to stop it, let me know.
Much historical amnesia about what the empire really entailed. The fact that you don't really teach colonial history in your schools. Children doing A levels in history don't learn a line of colonial history. There's no real awareness of the atrocities, the fact that Britain financed its industrial revolution and its prosperity from the deprivation.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So you guys, if you've not subscribed, guys, go ahead and subscribe. You've got no idea what you're missing. Guys, so I bring you this video that I found on TikTok and I found it to be very interesting. So I'm sharing it with you guys. This video is for educational purposes. Be respectful. Let's be peaceful with how we comment in the comment section below. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below and let's watch the rest of this video.
Foundations of empire. The fact that Britain came to one of the richest countries in the world in the early 18th century and reduced it after 200 years of plunder to one of the poorest. All of that is really not known anymore.
This is difficult stuff because we're just about to try and do a big deal with you. We need your trade. Are you going to hold this against us?
Not at all. I don't really think this is about today's relations, which are between two sovereign equal countries, John. I mean, our economy is as big as yours now. And as far as we're concerned, I think we don't need to have a chip on our shoulder when dealing with you. But I think we do need to be aware of history because, as I often say to young people, if you don't know where you've come from, how will you appreciate where you're going?
That's not it, guys. It gets better. Please let me know what you think about this other piece of this video in the comments section below. Let's continue watching.
I'm going to throw quickly back to Shashi because one of the great heroes of the Second World War, in fact, of the 20th century, Winston Churchill, you've basically accused him in your book of complicity in a famine that killed 4 million Bengalis.
Rightly so.
4.3. I mean, Churchill personally took the decisions that actually not only plunged Bengal into starvation, but had the British actually purchase grain that the Bengalis could barely afford to buy in order to ship it to Europe, not to aid the war effort, as his defenders claim, but to boost the buffer stocks in the event of a future possible invasion of Greece and Yugoslavia. People started dying, and Churchill said, well, it's all their fault anyway for breeding like rabbits. Said,
Let's just take a moment and look at this face, guys.
hate the Indians. They're a beastly people with a beastly religion. Australian ships were docking in Calcutta port and were ordered by Churchill and his odious paymaster, General Lord Chauvel, not to disembark their wheat, but to sail on to Europe, where their wheat might be used in some future reserve stock. On top of that, when conscience-stricken British officials...
Yes, I was going to say, did Churchill know people would die?
Yes, conscience-stricken British officials are constantly sending memoranda to the Prime Minister personally, because it was his decision, saying that people were dying literally on the streets. And all Churchill could bring himself to do was write peevishly on the side of the file, why hasn't Gandhi died yet?
Wow.
And this is the man the British want us to hail as an apostle of freedom and democracy, when he has as much blood on his hands as some of the worst genocidal dictators of the 20th century.
Well, thank you.
Okay, you guys. So this is like my favorite part of this video, where one of the audience members was allowed to ask him a question. Guys, it's the way he responded for me. So let's just continue watching this video.
My question is to Shashi Tharoor. Happy Onam.
Oh, thank you.
You
too.
And I wanted to stop it here real quick to warn you guys, especially for the black people. You know let's see, what we call the bones and biscuits, the step and fetches. It's like we have them. These other countries got them too. Because this one right here, he's no different than like a Larry Elder. He's no different than a Jesse Lee Peters. He's literally going his best to try to cake and defend the British Empire against what they did to his own homeland. Hamza. Oh yeah, I definitely follow African Diaspora. That's a must watch. But let's get into it. I mean, I was listening to this, I'm like, what? Really? Is that what you think? And at your age, you don't know your own history better than this?
You mentioned about Britain, mentioned that Britain left India in a worse off condition than had it been without Britain. You also mentioned about reparation from Britain. What about the skills in engineering and manufacturing India acquired, the administrative and democratic processes it inherited, the infrastructure left behind, and most of all, the rapid education of the Indian people, of which you are an excellent example? Surely.
Chris, did that dude not sound, did he not sound like some stuff you would hear from a black conservative?
Yo, that's why I was saying, like, time out. Like, son, because we are talking about the people, I would talk like them. I'm telling you, he is sounding just like the people on the black conservative channels on YouTube. They are always talking that, black people do not have it hard. It is just the white man. They are blaming other people. No. This is not correct. Okay? I will fix the record. This guy is sounding very stupid. And I will tell him it to his face, and he will have to look at me and wonder how is it I can do this very good.
You're a fool. You're a fool. I know.
Son, he sounds just like them people who be like, he sounds just like the black conservatives, you said.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thank God Britain left behind infrastructure and their bullshit ass education system. Well, let's keep it real. There's 1 billion plus people in India, right? So not all of them are doing great. There's a lot of them that are really fucked up.
Doing great, and a lot of them are not doing great because of what the British did. I mean, I'm like, bruh, how did you not hear what he just said to you in the first place? And then turn around and talk about all the good they did. India was one of the top. They were like a superpower before the British came in there and wrecked them. And then you turn around and try to defend that they decimated and extracted, like literally it's like you got a bad, what are they called when something gets on you that a parasite. It's like they got a bad parasite, and they had a bad parasite on them for hundreds of years. And you're like, well, but the good thing about the parasite is we were able to lose weight, and then we were able to like go to the gym and work out and put on more muscle. And I'm like, what? I'm like, we learned the value of hard work because they kicked us from being so good that we had to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. It's like, what do you hear what you're saying? You're literally, that's like a woman being sexually assaulted and be like, I mean, I was sexually assaulted, but at the same time, it taught me to be able to overcome depression and, to know how to protect myself if I think I'm going to be attacked again. It's like, what? That's the lessons you draw from that.
But Marcus, keep in mind too, the British sought out India. Indians didn't go like the Indians didn't say, hey, let's go north and let's go west and try to find, let's go try to look for Western Europe. You know what I'm saying? They went looking for them. The Africans, they didn't say, hey, let's go to Western Europe and look for them people. No, those people came down looking for them, looking for everything they had, right? Yo, let's keep in mind the people from Western Europe, especially because, they're the ruling, that's where the ruling class is like, headquartered, right? Western European, their whole ideology and everything else, right? Yo, those people don't have shit with them, dog. The only thing they're good at is killing. Other than that, they can't even like fucking build sewer systems properly on their own. So to hear somebody talk about, oh, the infrastructure they left behind, yo, those are the only motherfuckers that suffer from the Black Plague like that. Think about it. There's civilizations much older than them that didn't suffer shit like that, but they did. They're nasty people, dog. And they will forever be nasty people. There will forever be nasty people who continue to inbreed amongst themselves and do the nastiest shit to kids and everything else. It is their ideology, dog. It's not us. And that's not to say that we're perfect or we do everything correct.
Well, I tell people this all the time. If you go all the way back, think about it. First, it was the Greeks deciding. Now think about this. Before you had this, let me put this down for a second. Before you had people who were in the Americas, they're dealing with people here. Sometimes it was fair, sometimes it was unfair. You had people in Africa, they're dealing with people in Africa. You have people in the Levant area, in Babylon, Sumeria in particular, who were, okay, I'm going to conquer this area and go back and conquer that area. They're staying there for the most part. They didn't start going off into Europe and conquering them until Europe did that first. First, it started with Alexander. When Alexander went through and started conquering all those areas, he conquered all of Europe. Because a lot of people don't think about the Greek Empire, and they don't realize the Greek Empire conquered all of what was known Europe. Like, we're talking about over to Italy, like all of this stuff. They had it all under wraps. Now, at that point in time, Italy was nothing for the most part. Actually, I'm not even going to say it was nothing because you already had the Etruscans who were there. They just had a more modest society than the Roman Empire, which came later. So I'm not going to say it was nobody there. But they eventually started subjugating like all of those areas. Then they start going through all the way over to Egypt. Then they went through all the way basically from Egypt through Israel to Pakistan to Afghanistan to India to reaches of China. They were going all the way up into Russia, all that stuff. The Greeks were doing that. White people, yes. White people, they started off doing that. And then you
Marcus,
had
Marcus, they literally have nothing the rest of the world wanted. There's nothing in Western Europe that anybody from Asia, Africa, or even here on this side of the world, they didn't want or need anything they had to offer. In fact, they was only able to conquer because they were so fucking nasty that their diseases wiped out their enemy before the enemy could even really take the battlefield. They're nasty fucking people.
Outside of Europe, outside of other Europeans, that's basically how they conquered most people.
These are nasty. These are nasty, fucking deranged, pathetic people who will do anything and everything. They have no morals. They have no guidance. That's why they quick to stand on the soapbox and tell you how you're immoral, because they just don't want you to start behaving like them towards them, because they're also very soft too. The only thing they got against us is that they're super conniving. We don't have to be as conniving.
Well,
You know
when it comes, that's the reason where that phrase honor amongst thieves comes from. Because when it comes to thieving and conniving, these people can get on one accord real quick. When it comes
super fast.
But at the moment that they've already conquered those other people, they can't keep to their arrangements and have to start backstabbing each other. Thomas said Africans figured out how to manage and treat smallpox 1,000 years before the Western smallpox. They had plumbing, had all kinds of stuff, long before most of Europe did. But I wanted to respond to Chris's comment here. It said the Romans are the ones that conquered all of Europe, and Alexander the Great conquered the Persian Empire. Yeah, but he did conquer most of the major parts of Europe that were settled at that point. The Romans did go and conquer all that, and then retook all those areas he took, including Babylon and all that too. And so, and then they're the ones that start going deeper into parts of Africa, going all the way across Egypt, going into Libya and all that. And then when they went through and decimated all of these areas and spread the inhabitants all over the place, whether these people were running for their lives or whether it was through enslaving them and shipping them all over the place, they decimated that area of the Levant, which led to the Ottoman Empire taking over basically everywhere from, let's say, Afghanistan. Afghanistan too. Afghanistan, parts of Pakistan. They came out of Turkey. Ottoman Empire comes out of Turkey. If you guys aren't familiar. Then they went in there. They took Iraq. They took Iran. They took Palestine, which Palestine, Israel, same thing. They took Palestine. They took over parts of Egypt. Well, they took over Egypt too. They took over Libya. They took over most of North Africa. And they had this whole Ottoman Empire took over all of this area and even parts going up into Russia. And World War II is what broke the back of that. But I mean, it was only the Ottoman Empire, which were Europeans too, who came into these areas. You had the Moors who did go into Europe and take over and rule that area for a time period. But outside of the Moors going into there and the different Arabs, which if you guys know about Arabs, like really where Arabs come from, Arab basically, it's a word that alludes back to being mixed. These are Europeans who came into the Middle East and mixed with those people in that area to produce the modern day lighter complected Arabs, which we see now. Because you can look through archaeology and see most Arabs were not the complexion that they are now. I'm not saying all, just like I'm not saying all of Egypt was all like, you know, all super dark people, which when you get in this argument with especially Egyptians, they make it seem like there were no darker people. Then you have some chematologist people who they believe all of them were darker. You had people from, trying to think who's the darkest person I can think of right now. You had people who look like some of the really dark people in the Sudan, all the way to people who were as light as modern day Turks, Mediterranean people. And you always had those types of people in there. Now, if you start looking into the earlier time periods, like the 25th dynasty and before, most of those people who were ruling were darker people until you start having the Greeks and the Romans and then the Ottomans coming into those areas. But sorry, just had to go on that little tangent. Oh, I see Baba's in the building. What's up, Baba?
Baba, what's up?
Baba says the Moors were advanced more than the stinky Romans. Well, and the Moors, eventually what happened with them is, a lot of people don't know, you had three groups of people within the Moors. You had Christians, you had Jews, and you had Christian Jews, and you had Muslims. And once they start splitting apart because of their different religious faiths, it left them vulnerable for attack. And since it wasn't a large number of them, trying to hold, because they teach a lot of people in history, oh, the Moors went into Spain and some of them went into Italy. No, the Moors were literally, the Moors were all over Europe. And in areas where they didn't have outright control, they were in the courts. Some of them were dukes, earls. I mean, they had heavy influence all the way into the Roman, all the way into the Russian Empire. And that's when you had the what is that called? The from Spain. Help me with it, Chris. The Spanish why can't I talk tonight? Exquisition. We had the Spanish Exquisition.
Oh, you mean the
that's when
the Inquisition.
Inquisition. There we go. That's when you start pushing Moors out. That's when because it started pushing out the Arabs, start pushing out the anybody who was any of the Hebrews also. And you were only allowed to stay if you were a Christian, basically, or if you were going to convert to being a Christian. And if you were darker, much darker, then you were forced out into North Africa and West Africa. That's what I'm saying, Marcus. The U.S. went into that region, dividing them up using religion. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Also, Dagestan, Kazakhstan, yeah, all those. Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, yes, all those. Arabs are Italians. Some could be, but I wouldn't necessarily go on that standpoint. I mean, especially if you look at the history, because when I was I lived in Sicily for a couple of years. They are mixed of various different countries. The French had a role in there for a while. You had Arabs from various different countries, whether it was from Libya, whether it was from Sudan, whether it was from Carthage, whether it was from people a little bit further to what would be modern day Persia. You had a mixture of all kind of different people who came in and took over that area, including you even had Vikings who took over parts of Rome for a while. So it was, especially Sicily. I mean, but sorry, we got way off topic. I don't know how I always get so far off topic. My apologies. Yeah, I have been. Hamza says I've been to Saudi. There are many brown and black natives. Yeah, because a lot of Arabs were darker than, and it came in with these hundreds and hundreds of years, these centuries and centuries of Romans being there, Greeks being there, Ottoman Turks being there. You had 3 different European nations come in and basically sit on that place for, let's see, a combined like what, 700 years or so. That's definitely going to change the phenotypes of a lot of people. Romania is like literally like right next door to Italy, especially northern Italy. In fact, the language is very similar. I worked with a Romanian lady when I used to work at Lowe's, and I would understand some of the words that she was saying because they were similar to Italian. The 25th dynasty of Egypt was all Nubian. The 25th saved Israel and Egypt from Syrian conquest. Correct, Thomas. I was given the little disclaimer so I didn't piss off the Egyptians, because they like to think that it was no, they weren't no dark people. Those were the what they love to say, the sub-Saharan. So anytime they see anybody brown complected, they forget Chris is the same complexion as those people on that wall. There are black people who are like, I mean, the Ethiopians. A lot of Ethiopian and Eritreans are naturally lighter, and they don't have any mixture with Europeans. I mean, you have the Khoisan people. A lot of the Khoisan people, like Nelson Mandela, they are lighter without any European mixture. But they play this game of sub-Saharan African. You have to look like you have
Manute Bol. You gotta look like Manute Bol.
Exactly. You gotta look like Manute Bol or Bobo.
Yeah.
If you don't look like that, then you're not an African.
Yeah.
Which you can find people all over Africa, and which people over here say, oh, the reason why Black Americans, they look different is because it's all the mixing through slavery and stuff. There are people who are over here in Africa who are my complexion and lighter with no, you check their DNA and there's virtually no kind of trace of European anything in there. The Middle East and North Africa have related groups of people. Some are mixed with Asian, Urals, and Black African, admixtures of over 1,000. Yeah. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that area, for instance, Israel, the Hebrew people would have been considered Afro-Asiatic. So when you look at modern Israel, ask yourself a question: Afro-Asiatic. I mean, you realize like their language family is in the same like with Chadic, or Chad. So they're in the same language family as these super European people. It's kind of like if I tell people, you know what? Hey, I just found out in my DNA that I'm 7% Japanese. Are you all of a sudden going to refer to me as only a Japanese person? Or are you still going to look at me as a Black person?
Yeah.
That's kind of the argument which I hear people who are claiming Israel to be their homeland are basically making. Oh, well, I got 7% Levantine DNA, so that means that this is my land. Dingo is in here. What's up, Dingo? Choosy is funny. Choosy is funny. Don't be fooled by India. They're Jesuit as hell in their top tier. One thing is corrupted.
Oh, yeah.
Muslims can agree on corrupted Roman dick pimple. I don't know what that means, but it's funny as hell.
Uh-huh.
The Arab world does have a problem with anti-Black racism. Well, a lot of people forget that the Arabs did run a major slave trade. I mean, you have the sub-Saharan slavery that was the worst known slavery besides the transatlantic slavery. Could be, some people say it might even been worse. I mean, they literally took people out of Central Africa, some West Africa, and North Africa and trafficked them all the way across the desert. Sometimes trafficking them as far away as into like China. Like, so they sold slaves literally like all the way over to like China. So it was quite brutal. In fact, a lot of them died on the way over. More than died in transit than were actually even put through slavery. And when somebody brought up earlier about with the colorism and the creams, I think it was Hamza. I mean, here, let me stop this real quick because that reminded me of something that I do like to talk about and plug every now and then. If you guys have not seen this interview, which I did with Sweta, she wrote a book called The Black Rose on colorism. Really good interview. It's only about an hour and 15 minutes. Advise you to check it out. And she's talking about she was one of those people who were using those creams, bleaching her skin because of basically the self-hatred that a lot of Indians have for their darker skin tone.
So Marcus, let me ask you. So she's from India, right?
Yeah, she was born and raised partially in India, and then she was in Japan for a while. She ran into a lot of racism there too. Then going back to India, and then eventually to the UK.
Marcus, do you know on this side of the world who's like really, really big on bleaching their skin?
Oh yeah, a lot of people in Africa and the Caribbean. Dominican.
Jamaicans number one by far. There's no.
Really? I know
Dominican
real bad.
I mean, we saw Sammy Sosa, what he did to himself, but that's just a drop in the bucket compared to the Jamaicans. It's a whole fucking lightning industry in Jamaica. That shit is sad. As somebody who is at least half, from that place, and I'm all down with the culture and all that other shit. From the time I was a kid and I heard about that, like all the songs, like yo, them I bleach out them skin, them I bleach.
What?
Them
really?
you know what I mean? All that shit when I used to hear. Yeah. So when I was a kid, it's like you hear that and you like, wait, what? Then you get older and you just see, yo, Jamaican people, they so caught up in colors. This shit is ridiculous. It's actually pathetic. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be telling them this to their face too. Like how much they try to avoid the sun because they don't want to get dark. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers live in the Caribbean and you trying to hide from the sun and you trying to bleach your skin to look good for these Europeans who come to your island. Like, son, I will say the one thing the European has been great at.
I know you see it definitely down. I was looking up a couple of Jamaicans and I'm seeing it. Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Oh goodness, that's sad. But I know you see a lot of especially Cubanos walking around with umbrellas all the time, so they can not get darker. You see that out here in Cali. You see that a lot, especially with a lot of Mexicans. They have those umbrellas. They are not trying to get darker.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese, Japanese.
Marcus, it's kind of tough. Like I like being outside. I don't mind the sun, right? And certain black women, you say like, hey, I like being outside. I live an active outside lifestyle. And, they get to the hemming and hawing about, oh, it's too hot, the sun, blah, 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 blah. Look, Vibes Cartel, the biggest fucking star in the last 15, 20 years out of Jamaica. Just look at Vibes. It looked disgusting. And Vibes is locked up, for those who don't know.
He looks sick.
He's in prison. But I'm telling you, Marcus, if you just check Jamaica and bleach, yo, it's a phenomenon that has existed there for as long as I've been alive.
Oh my God! Look at this burning on her. Oh man, I don't know. I might try to see if actually I'll probably hit up Sweta and see if I can get her to come back and talk about it. If you guys have questions,
and the sad part is, it's not just like the women; it's the men too. Yo, streets. The streets, the sun is brutal. Trust me, I know. But as long as you stay in the water, you protect yourself, maybe you put something on your skin, you get under the shade sometime, it's not that bad. You need some shea butter and some coconut oil. I'm telling you, that'll hook you up. That's what I do. And my skin don't be all fucked up, and I be outside all the time. You know.
This says Lil Uzi Vert says he'll bleach his skin.
Of course. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you, when you get a chance, just look at Jamaica and just
some people say Beyonce did it. Some people say Beyonce did it too.
Well, I don't know how much of hers is like photoshopped or, shit like that. I don't know. I'm not saying that she wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't know.
I don't know, man. I look at it like this, man. Because when I had jobs in Florida where I was outside a lot, I just do, okay, I'm just about to get darker. That's just how it is. Period. I'm just going to get darker.
Marcus, I've had black women tell me that they don't want to go outside because they don't want to get darker. It's such a turn off, bro. It really is to hear that. I don't want to get darker. Like, what the fuck? First of all, it's not something that's going to stay with you permanently, right? Number two, like, we supposed to be outside. You know what I'm saying? Yo, streets are stupid. He said Michael was soaking in that shit.
He was. He just had a bathtub just floating in it. Oh my goodness. In the summer, I'll be different colors from olive.
Yeah, same here, Thomas.
Brown, tan. I mean, same thing. I mean, people need to start being just. I mean, and this is what I try to get across to black people, which you guys don't realize. The melanin which you have in your hair, in your skin, in your eyes, protects you from the sun. It is natural skincare protection. Even your hair, the reason why you have those coils is to help you diffuse the heat better. That's the reason why black people have curly hair. Some people call it nappy, whatever. But that's meant to help you deal with the sun. And to be embarrassed of a natural gift that you have to protect you from the sun is just, I don't know. I don't know. To answer your question, Baba, I'm not sure. I haven't looked up the shooter yet on that. I don't watch videos like that anymore. If I know that it's going to be too disturbing, I try to stay away from it. I've seen enough crap like that I don't need the reminders of shit that I've seen. So I try to stay away from it. And I mean, for instance, if I was in Kansas City, because you have a winter time there, I would be much lighter than I am right now. But because it's sunny all year round here, got a little tense. Now the weird thing about it is the sun is just as brutal here as it is when I was in Florida, but it's not as hot here. I don't know, kind of weird. Let's see. So I mean, I don't know. It disappoints me that people have that much embarrassment in your skin. Or let's flip it on the other end. Some of these people, apologies, white women, I'm calling y'all out right now. When you go and try to get these big old lips and all that stuff, your face is not structured for that. Your lips match with your face. Just accentuate that and make that work. Don't try to adapt these other features, because then you start looking like what's her name? The Versace one, Donatella Versace.
Donatella.
You start looking like a Fraggle Rock. Don't do that to yourself. If you're pale, you're just pale. Get over it. If you're that dark, rich, that 95% chocolate, that's just what you are. Embrace it. Be who you are. But this embarrassment and shame, and y'all got to cut this shit out.
I'm telling you, it's like the more we go, the faker shit gets. So thankfully we're from a different generation, and you know our time is, you know, not to say our time is limited, but I'm just saying like we're not 14 no more.
I mean, it is. Hey, people just need to learn how to embrace what you got. I mean, I'm seeing old women out here. You 75. You're probably about 5'2", 75 pounds, and you put 2 basketballs on your ass. I mean, come on, embrace your body positivity. Be happy about it.
Marcus,
Hey,
since we start,
Sabby Sab.
Marcus, oh Sabby, what up? I see you in there. Marcus, if we're gonna stereotype, come to South Florida, the people with the worst ass jobs, they are Hispanic women. I don't care if they from Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba. Son, they like straight up grandmas, and they got this shelf of a butt and these flat stomachs. And I'm like, you're 55 years old. You shouldn't look like that. But they just can't help themselves. It looks so horrible. That shit look hard, and it just looks boxy. And I know, like, it's ridiculous.
Can we look in the mirror and love ourselves, please, people? Please.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. You guys want me to stand up and show you my gut because all the weight that I've gained lately? Show you. Be happy with who you are. Now, can we improve? Yes, we can improve, but I see people all the time that I'm like, why are you doing that to yourself? That's
I know.
once you're doing all this cutting on your body, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to work.
Marcus, do you know that the plastic surgeons give them credit for it? Like they go into debt for this stuff. It's not really. It's not all of them saving money and paying for it. No, they going into debt for it. They just not telling you that part until you know somebody and you like, well, wait, that's how all them doing it. They getting credit. They getting $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 credit for your body.
And I was going to tell Savvy, so you know how we got. This is how far off topic that we get sometimes. We were talking about basically British influence on the rest of the world and how their impact is created such a self-hate in so many melanated people that eventually this has led to a lot of this bleaching, this skin bleaching. But yeah, I mean, we kind of got way off the topic of the royal family, but sometimes it's good to go down these rabbit holes because a lot of people don't even think of the origin of where this stuff comes from. Why do people do some of this stuff? So the next topic, I'm not going to show this video. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already seen it. But I want to talk about Jordan Neely. For those who don't know, that is the gentleman who, he was a homeless gentleman who was doing the street performances doing Michael Jackson, and he'd become pretty well known in the New York area for being a Michael Jackson impersonator. Was it, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do basically like Eminem did. I'm gonna call out all the negative, get this out of the way, because conservatives were just looking for excuses, ways to try to defend this man who killed him. And yes, had he been arrested over 40 times? Yes, he had been. But honestly, if you look up, a lot of homeless people do that, especially in cold weather places. Do you know why they do that? Because even if they do a petty crime, they can go into a facility where they have shelter and where they have food. It's terrible that we live in a society that people are like, yeah, I'll break a window and stand here and wait for the cops to get me because I know I'm going to get out of the cold tonight. I'm going to get a shower. But that's the society we live in. Did he have some times where, okay, like there's a video going around where he's defecating out in public and they got him on camera and all that. Okay, yes, homeless people do stuff like that. They don't have a residence. So where do you think he's going to go? And then they showed another video where he's having an altercation with somebody. Granted, there's no context to it. We can't see what was going on. All we see is him upset with this man, yelling back and forth, and it gets a little physical. And I believe he gets arrested after that. All that.
Oh yeah, you gotta. What did Marcus? What did Jadakiss say? I know niggas go to jail just to get their teeth fixed.
Exactly.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think. I mean, I in every city that I would go to, I would do 24. I would do what I call 24 hours in a city. I would go to the main part of that city and go there in the early in the day, in the midday, in the evening, and overnight. That way, I can get a feel of what the city is like and watch it kind of move and come to life, go to sleep. And it was always interesting to me to see that. And in these walks that I would have, I would always talk to a bunch of different homeless people. And hearing and understanding these stories, you start humanizing these people and understanding that some of them have mental health issues, some of them have addiction issues, some of them basically just lost everything. I mean, you don't know what brought somebody to being living on the street, and you don't know what that person is dealing with either, because most of us have not lived on the streets. So that said, it does not confuse you. Yeah, I no, I did not watch her response.
Wait, response to what?
To probably this, I'm guessing.
Wait, no, I didn't, Marcus. Remember, I've been out the loop. So if Candace dumbass said something, I want to know.
You want to know? Okay, well, I'll go and pull it up. But my point is, and I'll get out my point of view, and then we'll look for the Candace Owens video. But my perspective is, even if he is screaming and yelling, he's not causing a threat to you. He's not causing you harm by yelling. He might be a nuisance, okay. If you have some money to give him some, or you have some food, give it to him. Maybe that can help this man, and he could have been still here on the earth. You don't have to choke somebody until they die. And I know why he kept him choked up, because if he would have let him go, then he probably would have beat his ass. Well, then you shouldn't have grabbed him then. And I mean, that went to a comment that I saw. Man, where's the one? It was a comment that I saw that I responded to, and somebody was saying, no, that's not the right one. They were basically trying to make excuses for what had happened. I'll keep clicking the wrong one. My apologies. Hold on a sec. They were literally trying to make excuses for why he killed this man. I can't find the tweet. Never mind. Never mind. I won't pull up the tweet. And can't find it. Give me one more second. No, don't see it. Anyway, what they were doing, it was a police officer, a former police officer, and he's like, "Oh, this hero that we had here," and I was like, "How is it heroic to sneak up behind somebody and put them in a chokehold?" And then I looked at his bio: Trump supporter, former police officer. And of course, he wouldn't respond to what I said to him. I said, so it makes sense that a retired cop, people that call a small mini mob to deal with unarmed motorists and often attack and brutalize them would believe that this is heroic. I really wanted him to respond, because I was going to tell him that in the military, when I was in the military and we were dealing with somebody else, or engaging with somebody else, the numbers are pretty much even most of the time. We don't get to have 20-to-1 numbers like cops do. And we don't wait to engage until we have 20-to-1 numbers. That's what cowards do. So that's what I'll say. I don't know. I can keep going and going and going, but I'm gonna shut myself up. So what did Candace Owens? That's right. That's what we're looking for, right? Candace Owens. Oh no! Oh, really? Did she? Oh, I gotta save that and deal with that later. I'm gonna do that on Hebrew Apologetics. She's talking Bible. I can't wait to roast her. Can't wait to roast her. I can't wait to watch this. So she said, nope. We're not playing that. 28 minutes for one. But what she says is, I have no sympathy for Jordan Neely. That's what she had to say. Abolish the monarchy. Exactly. No, of course she doesn't. Because Candace Owens has never had to be in a situation like this. She's never had to be in a situation. Also, when you get a little money, this don't happen with everybody. Because, I mean, perfect example, I remember Derek Thomas, who played for the Chiefs. Multi-millionaire. But he still spent the time coming around, engaging with kids, the public, everything. Stay humble and down to earth. But when you work for a propaganda network, where I would say not only propaganda, I would say basically hateful ass people, you're going to experience like this. I mean, I don't know. Did you hear what? Have you seen what Matt Walsh has in his bio for Twitter?
No. What does he have?
Let me read it to you, because they're always talking about how the left, or not even really the left, they say Democrats are socialists and communists, and I'm like,
no, they're not.
I'm saying they're not. The Democratic Party, and I guess the left adjacent, you have a percentage which, yes, they would like to push things to the left. Yes, they would like to get more socialist or communist things pushed forward. But they virtually don't have any power, and they're not wielding the Democratic Party in any kind of way. The Democratic Party is as capitalist as it has ever been. The only thing that they've done differently, really, is they have added support for the LGBTQ. Besides that,
that's it.
Democratic Party is the same Democratic Party that goes back a good 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's not. But the Republican Party has changed. Matt Walsh, this is what he said. Let's see, back. Matt Walsh called himself a. I'm all over the place with my stuff. Good gracious.
What do you call himself? Like a constitutionalist, liberal, classic liberal?
They're not hiding the ball anymore. Keep in mind, Matt Walsh on Twitter has 1.8 million followers.
Okay, so he probably has about 800,000, but go ahead.
He said he is a theocratic fascist.
He doesn't know what that means.
Well, but here's the thing. Actually, I think he probably does know what it means, and I don't think he cares.
He doesn't know what it means. It just sounds. It's something that he's come across, and he's just throwing a theocratic fascist. I mean, what the fuck does that mean? Let's be honest. Let's break it down.
What it means? It means somebody who believes in a theocracy, and you are a fascist.
But Marcus, we understand they believe in fake religion, right? They not following nothing. So again, it's bullshit. That's why people like him, I hear certain things and I'm like, okay, they make sense on this, but everything else you can just ignore what they say.
Well, that's why I came out of the church, because nobody could ever answer any questions for me. And then when I read the Bible, I started realizing These people don't follow the Bible. These people don't even know what it says in here.
No, Marcus, you know what? If we really want to make cake, we should start a channel away from everybody here and just pretend to be like the Hodge brothers. Just, you know,
somebody talked about that. I think it was what did somebody say that last week that we should do that. I'm like, I can't do it. It'd be too hard.
Marcus, we should just really do it as an act and then just watch that shit blow up way bigger than what we got going on here. We'd probably be able to quit our day jobs.
I know. I'm gonna tell you guys a true story. True story.
Streets, you're right.
My ex-wife, her father was very deep in politics in New York as a Republican.
Exactly, Hamza.
He told me if I wanted to, he said, I could make you so big you don't even understand it. But I just need you to convert to being a Republican. If you're a Republican and you push Republican politics, I could make you one of the next biggest things. I could have you on Fox News like in a week. Now, this is probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago or so, probably. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. Probably about 15 years ago. But he told me, it puts you on TV tomorrow. All you got to do is switch it up. You already got political science background. All you got to do is be like, yeah, the Democratic Party has let me down. And I realized that their values match my values a lot more. And so I'm giving it a shot, and then start the grift into, no, this is, and so I realized this is what they do with a lot of these Black conservatives. The bag is I mean, look at what happened with Clarence Thomas. That's the reason why right now they're putting all this pressure, or not pressure, but that's the reason why they're this investigation now about Sotomayor. I don't know. Have you heard that, Chris? That now Kevin McCarthy.
What's going on with Sotomayor?
Yes, Kevin McCarthy is investigating her now, and what that is to try to, oh well, let's muddy the waters.
Really?
Y'all should do some news like Wayne's hated it. Hey, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like a living color. If they hated it, you remember that with the little pets? No,
Marcus, they was like hated it. Tuesday snaps and a twist. Like, no, that was my shit.
With the little hats on the side.
Yeah.
What was it?
That was my shit.
He was like,
had the little, you know, they had the little hat up here to the side type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness. Plus, I'm not trying. Plus, we probably get canceled doing that, because then you'd have somebody coming out and be like, "That's what it was, men on film."
Yeah,
men.
That was It was Damon Wayans and then what's his name? David Allen Greer.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get caught up in no kind of appropriating anybody's. That's firmly in the LGBTQ's camp. I'm not going to try to steal a job from them over there.
Yo, do you remember their review of Bodyguard? They was like, oh, it's about a sexy white man who takes care of Whitney Houston. Yo, dog, they used to have me crying on a Sunday, dog.
Every Sunday. Oh man. And then you can't forget Jim Carrey when he was doing was it Venus de Milo?
Oh yeah.
With the horse, was it a horse trickle? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. Fire Marshal Bill.
You want to have all of your top? No, no. Because what it would be is somebody wouldn't know the reference to the joke and be like, because what I remember, I told people, I'm like, I don't know how comedy is gonna last. I mean,
going to last. It's already screwed up.
That's what I'm saying, because, man, I get it. Some stuff people shouldn't make jokes on. Some people, I get it. Different people have different traumas and all that. Maybe we should do it. Hey, this is going to be triggering. If you are overweight, then maybe you want to stay away from the show. If you are, all these different things. Put out a disclaimer for the people before they come in.
Marcus.
I'm like, man, I wanted to do some stand up, but I can't because
Marcus.
Because it goes back to the old 90s stuff that'll get you in trouble, the Mind of Mencia and all that. And I have no problem with cracking on me, people who look like me, people who don't look like me, because it's all supposed to be jokes and humor and fun. But nope, I'd be too afraid that somebody's going to take it serious, going to want to come after me in the parking lot.
Marcus,
or, I'm fired from my job because I offended somebody.
Marcus, in there, because Streets brought it up. Let me tell you something. Whoever's offended, they can light a match and burn themselves. I don't give a fuck.
He'd be like, yes, say you were just walking. No, because now you're gonna tick off somebody. You're gonna be like, you know what? I'm offended because my wife was a burn victim.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't even like to joke that much because I feel like I'm safe joking on straight black dudes. I can make them jokes all day long. Like I swear, like I didn't say this last week, but I'm gonna crack a little joke on myself. I'm gonna let y'all make fun of me for a moment. When we were in high school, we did this play where this one kid, Tim, he wrote this religious play, and I played like 5 different characters. One of the characters I played, we had like a Jerry Springer type show. So the guy was on there to tell his fiance that he was cheating on her with her sister, and he also was cheating on the sister with his boyfriend. And then the boyfriend was cheating on him with his lover. And I was playing that one. So I'm pretty sure, man, that video's surfaced from God knows where. They're like, see, look at him. He was pretending to be a gay man, and that's attacking the. Nope, that's why. Nope. I don't do no voices. I don't do any of that stuff because too worried about offending people in this day and age because it is not the 90s and 2000s anymore. Marcus was Oprah, the director. Oh, in that play, I played not only that character, which, Chris, you're going to love the name. My character's name was Mr. Bojangles. I played the best friend of a kid who was getting into the street gang that ends up getting murdered. I played one of the gangsters who come to shoot the kid. And in another one, I play the best friend of a dude who's beating his wife. And then I had one other character I can't remember. I had 5 characters in this one play. It was a lot of running off stage, changing clothes real fast, and then coming back on. She says, "Bojangles, you babies." And here's the thing. I created the name.
No, I didn't see. Oh, Marcus, did you see that reporter who was talking about the NFL dude, Jalen? And she was slipped up and was like, "Oh, he's got a big dick," and everybody was like, "Whoa, what?"
Whoa. Yeah, I mean,
yo, that shit was funny as hell. It just made me think of that whenever they mentioned it. Spade. I didn't see the baseball.
Somebody would swear that we're both getting blazed up before the show or something.
No, actually, I was. I just when I came on here, I was just coming from coaching these kids basketball. So no, I wasn't blazing or nothing.
Not me. I was working on something because I'm doing more TikToks. So,
Oh shit.
Hey, TikTok has actually been all right.
No, I've been seeing some things on TikTok that's cool, but because I'm cool with all these kids and I'm around all these kids so often, they be showing me mad shit on TikTok. Like
TikTok
adults,
is bad.
Yeah, adults aren't even aware of half the things that they're talking about are coming from TikTok.
Mm-hmm. I was actually given. I feel like I need to apologize to TikTok because I was like, man, I'm not paying attention to that stupid stuff for kids. I'm not paying attention to that.
But Marcus, if you was on TikTok, if you were on TikTok 3.5, 4 years ago, it was for kids. It was for kids and single moms, right? Well, not single moms, but moms looking after their kids, sharing recipes and laundry tips and how to get, grass stains out of jeans and shit like that. Obviously, over time, it has turned into something else. But early on, it really was for kids. Trust me, because my son was on TikTok from the first day that shit was available. So I've been watching TikTok the whole time.
Yeah,
and they not slick with them. And they not slick with them anime ads with the girls with the super big breasts and the super big butt and the facial.
To it. I don't know about all that. My feed must be really tailored to the stuff that is. Mine's dealing with mostly social justice. Like the last video I just did was a response to the end wokeness thing about trying to, I guess, debunk systemic racism with a chart. And so I did that one, and then right before that I did a tribute to Harry Belafonte, and I read off 10 of my favorite quotes of his.
But no, what they do is, so when you send the link to somebody, it'll be whatever video you wanted them to see. The problem is when that ad comes up after the video is completed, the ad that comes up is very suggestive. And again, it's meant to make 12-year-old boys, 13-year-old boys, 14-year-old boys click, and even maybe even some of the girls. It's supposed to make them, it's forcing them, not forcing, but it's suggestive enough that they will want to click it to see exactly why her face is like in the ad. You know what I'm saying? It's real nasty work that they doing on there as it pertains to the kids.
Here's what Hamza says, my feed has great info with a lot of real earth info debunking lizard people. Like I do see some stuff on there. Like I saw this guy, he was doing a map and he was like trying to prove how Egypt is really in America. And yeah, his map was kind of wild. And he had basically South America is really Africa. And he's like, y'all don't really realize that y'all just got everything. They lying to you about everything. I'm like, okay, I do believe that they're lying about a lot of stuff in history. I've been able to substantiate a lot of different lies, improve the lies, and uncover stuff. But some of y'all are just going way, way out there. Y'all just like, hey, since they're lying about so much stuff, then I'm just going to make up my new reality. And you're going too far with some of this. A perfect example, the Dane Calloway, like what Dane Calloway has spawned. That no, black people, you don't have really, black people in America, you actually don't have a tie to Africa at all. You were actually the actual real natives, and there's no real explanation to where the people that we call Native Americans came from. There's no explanation to that at all. I guess we're supposed to believe that roughly 30,000 people came over here and then sexually violated the women over here, generating hundreds of millions of people. I mean, nonsensical stuff that some
it doesn't make sense, Marcus.
Not at all. And then they're like, well, how can you, where are the slave ships at? There aren't any slave ships. And I'm like, do you think that they still have the Mayflower sitting around here from when Europeans came over here? No, they don't. Because a wooden ship doesn't last that long. Do you understand that wood can rot? Do you understand that it can fall apart? Also, do you realize how many ships that they literally find in the ocean that were slave ships still? Like, a lot of people don't realize like that they took slaves out of Mexico and took some of them and took them down to Cuba. That they took some Tainos out of Puerto Rico, out of Jamaica, Haiti, all these places, and took them to Spain. That they took people all over the place. And yes, the ships are not still sitting around here today. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So are we to believe that the Persians didn't attack the Greeks, that there was no war because there was no way for Persians to actually get to Greece? I mean, it's just some of the, and then stuff like Harriet Tubman is not a real person. Harriet Tubman didn't exist. Neither did Nat Turner. Nat Turner didn't exist either. Some of them have said Frederick Douglass wasn't a real person. I mean, I can't even entertain some of this nonsense. Thomas says, I need to do a video debunking the myth of red-haired, half-alien races building the pyramids of Africa and America. Yes, I've had to deal with people about this ancient alien stuff that, no, it was actually, these weren't burial grounds or temples or none of that. The aliens built them, and they're actually some kind of weird spaceships that they left behind. And I'm like, oh, gosh. Do you guys know that in these parts of Africa in particular, there's smaller and smaller pyramids that are less perfect that you can tell somebody worked on and worked on and worked on and kept recreating? They're like, well, how can you move these big stones? You don't think that you could build this whole base, get the materials, take them up there, and start making a whole new stone right there? Did they have to make the stone and somehow carry this huge block up there? I mean, it's a lot of stuff you run into on TikTok that it's on YouTube also, but it's a lot of that prevalent too on TikTok, I've found.
I don't understand why every time, why are they always coming for us though? Just leave us alone, dog.
Oh, with some of the racist stuff?
Yeah, all the time. Just leave us alone. Like, chill, it's been enough. Like, go find another target. Like, go pick on your parents. I don't know. Just leave us alone.
Well, honestly, that does make some of the best content. But what it is,
that's the problem. It's just like how if we put something in the show description, we're not going to get as many views. It fucks up the algorithm. Not mess up the algorithm, but it takes us out of it or puts us in it, right? Like, they know on the other side, if they put us in their description and all that shit, it make they shit go up. So it's just funny how that works.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed these comments. Yeah, I completely agree. Back to that back to what happened with Jordan. Yeah, if it's not your bit, if it doesn't affect you, what's the problem? And we have far too many people who stick their nose into people's business that they should not be doing. What else we see here? It said they select babies with both genitalia too. That Thomas Barrett guy says he adopted a baby from China and Africa just in case. Or some nonsense fascists have history of adopting from parents they kill. RT had a documentary on. Interesting. To go into that. Let's see. Oh, Copeland Morris. Hey. Mortification of the flesh has to be sin or the effect of abuse suffered in the past.
Oh, Marcus. Side note.
Hey, Leonard's in the building. What's up, Leonard?
Marcus, side note: Have you been watching the Cameron and Mace show, their sports show?
I didn't know they had a show.
Marcus, the shit is comedy gold.
Did you see what Street said? That ain't happening.
Look, I responded to him right away. As soon as I seen it, I had to put something in the chat. So yeah.
No. There's a couple of things that I can do outside of this kind of stuff, and they don't got to do with twerking. I probably could do a sports talk video, or boxing, martial arts tutorial, maybe a drawing and painting show, maybe something having to do with playing music or something. But
Marcus, if you like sports, I suggest you watch Cam. If you into sports, I suggest you watch Cam and Mace. That shit will have you fucking dying laughing. I promise you. It's very funny. And they from New York, and they got everybody saying pause now. If I say, hey, Marcus, you're going to do it big.
Oh, they're the ones that started this pause thing.
Oh, pause is a Harlem thing from long time ago, but now that Cam and Mace are really like, they blowing up, and anybody who is watching it, now everybody's saying pause. So if I'm like, yo, we did it real big today, pause. Yo, Marcus, that shit was hard, pause. Marcus, that dude is big, pause. Like, hey, I'm going in, pause. It sounds stupid, but it's so fucking funny when you watch them do it. I promise you, if you just watch like 2 or 3 episodes, and they're short, they're like 40 minutes, an hour, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Because I'm like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm like,
yeah, it's a Harlem thing they started in the 90s.
When people say cap and all this stuff, like all these terms, like if it wasn't for the internet, I would not know any of this. When people start talking about pause, I'm like, this is live. What do you mean pause? I'm confused.
If you if you say anything that can be remotely, or even anything that can be remotely construed as homosexual, they pause. And Streets, yeah, it's on YouTube. It's free. It's called It Is What It Is. I hate promoting other people's shit, but I do like funny shit, and I do like to discuss funny shit.
Yeah. See, it's just like when
they were doing it in the 80s, Hamza. They were doing it in the 80s, but in the 90s, when people got big and more access to the radio and shit like that, that's whenever it became a thing.
The makes can always be paused. Like, I don't know about. I still have a hard time understanding that the no cap and that. I don't understand that either. I don't understand when people talking about base. That I'm like, do you guys realize base? When you guys say that, what it like in the Bible? If it says somebody is a based man, because it does say that in the Bible. Do you know what that means, Chris?
No, Marcus, I will admit here to everyone right now, I still don't know what based means. When they say, oh, he's based, or he's the based God, or Lil B the based God, I don't know what that means. I won't pretend.
To be base of men or based, it means you're the lowest of low. That's what it means biblically. It means like you're basically a nothing. So it's kind of an insult. That's the reason why when somebody called me base the first time, I'm like, what? Do we have a problem? And they're like, no, it's a compliment. And I'm like, I don't understand this generation. Maybe I'm just getting old. Oh, man. What's another one that I don't understand? I'm not understanding a lot of these different terms y'all be coming up with. Chris, I thought about that. Since you were kind of out of the loop, did you see the Met Gala?
No, I didn't. I mean, I saw when I went to work.
You laugh. So, I got 2 things for you left. I don't know. That didn't sound right. Nothing like that. 2 videos. Um, but two videos to get into. Yeah.
Oh, was JC just said meow? Is that in reference to Doja Cat, who just really acted like a cat? Is that what that is, JC?
Meow? Are we talking about Super Troopers? That's what
no, you brought up the Met Gala. From what I heard, Doja Cat showed up there really acting like a cat.
But I'm gonna show y'all. I don't know if y'all seen this one. Do you watch Chisel Adonis?
Who?
Chisel Adonis.
No.
I got a treat for you then. Chisel Adonis. For those who know, I watch Chisel Adonis. He does a lot of like commentary on different stuff. And I'm gonna get this video ready so you could hear Chisel Adonis's take on the Met Gala. And you can see it live. Yeah, when I was seeing this stuff, I'm like, what is going on in there? This is some weird stuff these people are wearing. Weird clothes. And then Lil Nas X has to just take it to a different level.
Well, it's the Met Gala. You know, it's a lot of shit.
Is that supposed to be? Is the Met Gala just supposed to be about being really weird?
No, it's Anna Wintour, I think. You know, it's
because you're in New York. I don't know how y'all get down in New York. I don't know how y'all get down in New York. I don't understand it. I mean,
because New York, you know, New York is there's many layers to New York, right? And just like how you may have like your real authentic hip hop circles and you know your basketball circles, shit like that. You also have your weirdos like that, the people on the Upper East Side and shit like that. For people who don't know who's in New York,
I just know where I grew up. I grew up in the Midwest. You're not gonna see no shit like that. Not in no Kansas City. Really.
But Marcus, these are people whose money is really long and they like taking 3 months.
Getting super rich make you super weird?
Yes.
I mean, even people who I'm like, I like their music. Oh, that person's cool. What the hell are they wearing?
Yeah.
Your girl Rihanna, for instance, you'll see what she's wearing. I'm like, okay, and then I'll just let y'all see. Chisel Adonis, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so boom. Y'all know I don't give a damn about fashion, nor do I understand it, but people keep DMing me to talk about the 2023 Met Gala. Oh, look, it's Tom Brady's ex-wife, Giselle.
He's not even that hot. Kind of looks like a dude. Yeah!
Come out to play. Hide your drinks, ladies and gentlemen. There's unarrested criminals in the building. Kylie Jenner's in the
You
house.
look like a man. I'm sorry, Marcus.
What in tarnation and he wearing? I don't know. There's a fashionable Doctor Who in the building. Why is Dwayne Wade dressed like Damian Priest? You know what they say in his house. It's not that you're hungry. It's the fact that you didn't transition into a full person. Easy fix, ladies and gentlemen. Just when you thought you could avoid Patrick Mahomes' wife. I know she's strapped up right now. Call security. This bunny really is bad at preparation. You at the Met Gala trying to be fashionable like you don't gotta fight Damian Priest. No. That Damian Priest this Saturday. Hey, get out of here! Tits out for Harambe. The beautiful people. The beautiful people. The beautiful people. The beautiful people.
What is that? Oh shit! What is that?
What kind of Digimon is this? If she were to engage in coitus but decided to stay in character, would that be considered bestiality? Wouldn't be New York City without any cockroaches crawling around on the ground. And look at this punk ass cameraman. Rather than execute that insect, he out there backpedaling like he was in cover 3. Imagine thinking photos was gonna eliminate the cockroach. I've never seen Barry Allen used incorrectly like this. Shorty out here looking like a roll of dried toilet paper that was found underneath the couch. Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air certainly looks different these days. Why'd they put used tissues from the pandemic on her top? P. Diddy out here looking like a final boss in a video game ain't nobody ever played. And here comes his personal toilet. No wonder she wore that. She's not letting a single drop of urine escape tonight.
Take a shower, like golden showers. I do. Golden showers, meaning when the guy pees on you, pee on you everywhere. You like it? I just like it. You do?
Nasty bitch. Seems like the hip-hop community is trading in their gold chains for gold showers, for sharing some of his liquid bling, and keep your golden showers to yourself.
What's wrong with a man giving away a golden shower? Sounds like a nice gift to me. Shoot, I wish somebody gave me a golden shower. 1, I like gold. 2, I like showers. Put it together. Hey, that sounds like the life.
If you're good,
I remember that Boondocks episode, kid.
shower for Christmas.
Christmas? My man Santa.
Better hide your girl. Pete Davidson's in the building.
Hey, where the bitches at? It's supposed to be titties. Where the fucking titties and the bitches?
Man's caught more rebounds than Dennis Rodman.
Who's that Pokemon?
Yeah, that's right.
We got a Pokemon out there too. I am so confused about what the hell's going on out at the Met. This dude is dressed as a bride. Homie dressed like a medieval arms dealer. Janelle Monáe out here built like a One-Piece villain. Can't tell me she ain't decides to cosplay as a Wapple.
You can just cut to the chase and change into your final form. Final form, my ass.
She getting naked. She getting naked. Rumor has it first thing Brittany Griner did when she got out of jail was eat some pussy. Introducing bow ties for titties.
I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
Here I go. You need my glasses? I'm rich, bitch.
ASAP Rocky jumped the guardrail, slapped this woman's glasses off her face, but the moment she realized homie's famous, this lady don't even want to press charges. In fact, it's a badge of honor. Look how hyped she is. Shorty might never wash her cheeks ever again. She went from Karen to fangirl within seconds. FaceTime and friends. You won't believe who just slapped me, Kelly. No wonder the city stink. How many Bronx people are in Manhattan? How fitting, Kim Kardashian with ropes of white necklaces around her chest. I've seen this movie before.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
And it never fails, a supposed adult event where some individuals like to dress scantily clad. Guess who brings their children? Ass out for, well, she ain't got no ass. The butt cheeks out for Harambe. Tiana Taylor looked like a character you just unlocked but don't know how to play with. What the hell is that? Old Town Road just became a low-tier entry-level villain. Man's pulled up in nothing but a thong. How fitting. Everybody outside. And where's Lizzo? The kitchen. Get back in the kitchen. I know Erykah Badu can't see shit. Get the GPS. ASAP jumped the guardrail just to look like he plays the bagpipes for money in the NYC Transit. And once again, unfortunately, Rihanna, not pregnant with my baby, out here looking like an igloo of flowers. Nevertheless, I still have no clue what goes on in the Met Gala, nor do I care what happens at the Met Gala. All I know is you got a bunch of motherfuckers who get together, look weird, and they're happy about it. All I know is it's Halloween every springtime in NYC, and this criminal needs to be dealt with.
We are the police. We are the police. The police of Haiti. The police of Haiti.
You mean to tell me you watched the entire video, but you haven't subscribed?
Yes. That's Kids with the Mountains. And that's the Met Gala. Woo! Oh man.
He did the breakdown very, very well. I didn't see much of this. I heard a bit about the discussion about, certain people's outfits and shit like that. This is not something that I typically like pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Because I truly don't get.
I never paid attention to it. It's weird. You got people like Pokemon and cats and like, what is going on here?
Oh, Marcus, if you just go back through the years, you'll see there's even weirder shit than what you saw here.
Okay.
The funniest part is when he said Kim Kardashian showed up with a white, what did he say? With white strings. He said, "Oh, I've seen this movie before." Yo. To me, that was the funniest part. Like, yo, damn, shots fired, man down.
Well, that's his channel. That's the reason. That's how I came across that slap stuff. On his channel, what he normally covers is like sports events.
Yeah.
So he was covering, homie that had the jaw all hanging down.
Mm-hmm.
He was covering a lot of that slap stuff.
Oh yeah, that shit is crazy.
And then remember the that Russian what is it called? The Russian fighting league where they'll have like an old man fighting like a 19-year-old kid, and then they'll have like a man who's like 400 pounds fighting like 4 women. I don't know.
Nah, that's crazy.
I'll send it to you. It's some. I was like,
Marcus, isn't it ironic though? Speaking of, because I see Streets' comments about kids and shit like that. Isn't it ironic that Kanye fucked up by getting with them, but he just said he didn't want his daughter doing certain things, but the mother and the grandma and all the rest of them, they're grooming her to follow in the mother's same exact footsteps. That's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because she's not even really getting to be a kid. But you know what? Fuck that. I take care of my kids. My kids enjoyed being a kid. So what they do with theirs, hey, to each its own.
Remember, Ray J spilled the tea about the fact that that Kris Jenner was involved with the whole sex tape stuff. Like they're planning this to release it.
Yo, Kris Jenner watched the first tape. And she told her daughter, maybe y'all need to record another one. How the fuck did you sit there and watch your child have sex? I don't care if your child's 20, 30. How the fuck did you sit there and watch your kid engage in sexual shit? And you like, oh, you know what, honey? You can do it better. Nah, there's something wrong with you if you're doing that. Straight up.
So what that means is it's a good possibility that Kim, since she saw no problem with that, I don't even want to utter the sentences, but if her daughter got older, that she would engage in that. Or worse enough, some of these celebrities don't have problems messing with kids the wrong way. So I mean, I don't. Let's just erase that 10 seconds I just talked about that. Let's not even go down.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even want to think about that. Hopefully, y'all don't think about that either. Just these people,
what did Street say? Parents look, Streets just said parents selling out for fame and money. If anyone has been paying attention to the R. Kelly case, you'll see that the parents are the ones who have been coaching their daughters on how to deal with this dude and how to physically please him so that he can in turn make you a star by, helping you out, etc., etc. It's really disgusting to see the moms texting their daughters like, hey, girl, you better put on them knee pads tonight, girl. You better, handle that, man. Yo, it's fucking nasty. They punish Robert, but they don't punish Hove, Puff. I wonder why. Hove and Puff, if they are doing that to that extent, they haven't been all out front with it as much as Robert. Where was Aaliyah's father? They were all trying to get money from R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? They were all trying to take my child. I want to be the road manager. I want to be this. I want this. I want to go on tour with you. Da, da, da. They didn't care about their child.
Well, children. I mean, I can tell you a true story with Usher's mom. I remember seeing her get into a nasty argument. Basically, Usher, he came and he was supposed to perform. Well, the story was that he was coming to our school and he was going to perform. This is like when his first album was out. Actually, he didn't even have an album out. He just had a couple singles. And he was going to perform, allegedly. And they told us to just bring canned goods. This was for charity or something like that. They brought a whole bunch of canned goods, and I saw his mom literally arguing with school staff about my son ain't performing no fucking canned goods and blah 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 blah. And he only he's on. So he just went out and he talked to the crowd, a little bit, but he ended up not singing because she refused to let him perform at all unless she was getting the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Oh, Copeland says over here, he gave us a explanation for bass. Said the kids say bass, not bass, and it puzzled me for a long time. But based in the language of antiquity, seems to refer to base metal as opposed to precious metal, I believe. The kids use base to mean reputable or grounded in values. Okay. All right.
Thomas, probably more times than we know. And if we just look at even Disney, it probably happens a lot.
Well, that's what, I mean, it definitely happens with Disney a lot. Look at Britney Spears.
That's who I was thinking about when I said it.
Look at the Coreys. You know, and then even on a smaller scale, you had that Fox News producer. Well, he was with Fox at the time, but he had been what, CNN before that, or MSNBC. One of them. I know he had been with two different networks on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, and he was soliciting women to bring their daughters to him. That story, we talked about it, what was it, maybe about 7-8 months ago or something like that. But that happened not that long ago where he found out that that's what was going on. And let's see. I don't know if you've heard, I guess, to switch gears one more time, heading into, I guess, the last story I had on the list.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, this was funny. Somebody put out when Irish Twitter wonders where everyone is and then realizes the time difference. I don't know. Did you see that where they're talking about like anti-monarchy, Irish Twitter, Black Twitter, Scottish Twitter, Welsh Twitter, African Twitter, Caribbean Twitter?
Oh, how they all be getting together to hate on the Royals?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Did you see? You saw the what they did? I don't here. I'll go to it first. This isn't what I was talking about going to, but I'll show you this real quick. I thought it was interesting. All right.
Oh, for those who don't know, Canelo won his fight unanimous decision.
Of course. Who thought he was going to lose? Y'all thought he was going to lose that fight. Come on. All right, can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, this is funny.
Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
Marcus, you know this is gonna get the video, this episode pulled.
As long as it's altered. We said everybody's like, no, don't worry, Irish, you're not on your own. We're all coming for him.
Correct. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I was like, let me show that real quick. Plus, it's only a minute and a half. It should be
Yeah,
all
no,
right.
that's actually very funny.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I gotta show that one. I don't know if y'all seen it or not. Yeah, I know.
I know, right?
Yeah, granted, I get it. Having people, First Nations people, I get it, Thomas. I know. And then they had Spider-Man being Aboriginal Australians. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
It is. But I get what they were saying. So, oh, here it is. No, that one. Or is it the next one? Oh, I guess I can always just click mine and then go to it. So let's put it on the screen. That's not the one I want to share. But skip back over to, oh, it's over here. If you guys saw how many links I got open. But here it is. I'm down for a moment. It says, Howard Stern says black NBA players ignore him in Knicks games. The black players won't come over and say hello to me, but they go over to Spike Lee. I grew up in a black neighborhood. You know what I mean? I mean, they should know that, but I get ignored.
Who the fuck is Howard Stern to even run his fucking mouth about that? Because he got a black woman co-host that he thinks that he's part of the culture, that these dudes need to come up to him. Motherfucker Howard Stern, you ain't talked to none of us. I was in New York when your show, before you moved over to satellite. You ain't talked to us. You ain't give no fucks about us. Who the fuck is he? Yo, I'm tired of dudes like this. And it's always these older dudes who turn Democrat to a liberal and shit like that. Yo, get rid of this snake. Get rid of this motherfucker.
You
know what? I'm gonna be real disrespectful. He looked like his name is Edna. Okay, so Edna, go sit the fuck down. I wouldn't go to. If I was a baller, I would never look at Howard Stern, much as go to talk to him. Who the fuck is he to even run his mouth like that? I'm sorry, but seeing shit like this triggers me because it's just like, who the fuck is you? I grew up in a black neighborhood. You know what I mean? No, I don't know what the fuck you mean, Howard Stern. Shut the fuck up and stick to your audience. How about that?
He grew up in a black neighborhood, like at the time when, I mean, before most of these people's parents were even born. I mean, you're super old for one. For two,
you know what? You know, Marcus, you know what the problem is? Because a lot of the time people don't want to smoke and they don't want to deal with the repercussions and things that come for you for opening your mouth and speaking up. I get it. But I would hope that Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson or RJ Barrett, I'm naming all black players on the New York Knicks. I would hope that one of them would see this and then the press conference be like, Howard Stern, go fuck yourself. I'm never going to come and talk to you. I'm going to talk to Spike Lee because you know what? Spike from Brooklyn and he been here his whole fucking life. Okay, Howard, matter of fact, you should watch the game from home. Don't even show up to the Garden. That's probably why we losing, because your Edna looking ass is showing up to the games and giving us bad juju. Just stay home, Howard Stern. Your time is done.
Yeah, my
sorry,
like no, you're good. I wanted you to respond.
Yeah, man. These corny ass old motherfuckers, man. They gotta, we gotta get rid of some of these old people. I'm all for respecting elders and people with wisdom and people who have good game to give us, to help us move forward. He's not one of them. He's one of them old people you run over on the side of the road and you keep it pushing just because you say stupid shit like that. Who the fuck are you, Howard Stern? In terms of the black community, the NBA community, the larger basketball community, who is Howard Stern? You have no parts in this. Matter of fact, these young kids don't even know who you are. They don't know who you are. I only know who you are because I came up in New York at a time when you were actually on the radio in the city. Other than that, my kids don't know who you are. My younger cousins in their 20s don't know who you are. nigga, go sit down. Like seriously.
I said, and then also if you put into it, it's like Howard Stern. You for people who even did know who you were, you lost a lot of respect with the Sherman Hemsley thing. You lost a lot of respect for people with that. Let me back it up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. For those who don't remember, when he did this.
Streets, I see you.
This was, well, for one, Ted Danson did it first. Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg. And this is what they're making fun of.
That's what I'm saying. And you want NBA players to come and talk to you? Like, what the fuck is we talking about?
I'm like, you thought this was funny. Also, for those who remember his show, I don't know if y'all who remembers it or not, but outside of being very sexual, trying to get women to ride sex machines and get moms and daughters to take off their tops.
Marcus, it's only people. Marcus, don't we notice something? Let's call it out right here. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not front or hide from it. It's only it's only men who have a hard time actually dealing with women who do goofy shit like this. They get to a certain position, they get a little bit of money, they get a little bit of fame, then they're able to start talking to women, because then the women will now come and talk to you because you got a little platform and maybe they can get something out of it. But then that's what they do. Hey, take off your titties. Take off your shirt, show me your titties. You know what I'm saying? Only weirdos do that. If you're a guy who has no problem dealing with women, talking to women, etc., you don't do shit like that.
Well, and then here's another thing. Some of them who might have known and said, you know what? Maybe because some people had an issue with that alone. Well, did we forget like how his policy, like his commentary during the whole COVID thing, during the whole COVID era was? He was very like militant mandates. He was very militant on the mandate side. He was like, well, kick them off the team if they don't want to get vaccinated and all that. He was very hardcore on that. And one of the people I felt who pushed New York to even go the direction that they did with the the mandatory vaccine and all that. If that's not enough, even Robin on your show told him, Robin, who people don't know, that's the black lady who's on the show. She told him numerous times that he crossed the line and that he was being racist, or that what he said was inappropriate numerous times. And so my comment, let's see what it says. My comment was hilarious to me at Howard Stern doesn't understand being a famous shock jock doesn't carry the same weight in the black community as Spike Lee, a cultural titan, a giant to us. He may be wealthier and more famous overall, but that doesn't mean jack, especially to younger black folks. Like I heard somebody was like, well, Tom Segura, they would know him and somebody Vaughn or whatever. And I'm like, I hate to put this on a racial thing, but just because this person might be very popular, that does not mean that in the black community that they messing with them. I mean, even when it comes to comedy, up until like not very long ago, a lot of black people listen to more black comics. They didn't even listen to white comics. Like I've never heard a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up. I've never decided I want to go hear Jay Leno comedy. That's where it's a little bit of a cultural divide, because we don't always get down with the stuff that the whole overarching proper everybody else is into, because we have our own comedians over here and we have our own different sense of humor. I feel now I think that kind of the lines have kind of went down a little bit. You have some people, some more of that free flow, but because of the population is, what is it? The white population in America is over 60%. You can be huge in the white population and not a single black person have a clue who the hell you are. And that does happen a lot. Yeah, Hamza says no one knows Theo Von in the black community. Yeah, I didn't know. I had to Google the guy. Somebody, the singer from Shinedown, was talking about Tom Segura and Theo Von, and I'm like, do you forget that Tom Segura just kind of threw a slight at black people, talking about washcloths are dirty and for poor people? You really think
Wait. Yeah, Marcus, they don't be using washcloths, and I don't understand. You know, you're not supposed to use a washcloth for like 3 weeks straight or 2 weeks straight, but you use it for a few days, and then you put it in the hamper, you get another one. I don't know how you just feel clean with just rubbing a bar of soap or body wash on your body and you're okay. You got to scrub the dirt off you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, even until now, I mean, there's some overlap. Depending, like if you're from Cali or New York, you might listen to some mixture of different comedians, but definitely like in the Midwest, they ain't listening to none of no. Like
Marcus, Jerry Seinfeld doesn't have a single line from any stand-up that I ever know. I'm still using Cat Williams shit from his first stand-up. So they don't even rank. They don't. Son, they just don't. They don't rate in our community. They don't get on our radar. You know what I'm saying? That's for their middle class, upper middle class, small community, whatever. They have no effect on culture at large.
Like Hamza said here, even Joe Rogan is not popular in the black community. I mean, not really big. I mean, there's some who might know him or might have heard some. I've watched one of his stand-ups. I mean, and that was when I was just going through a phase of trying to listen to some new people. Because, a lot of the black comedians, most of them start going into movies. And so there was a void for a little while where it wasn't a lot of black stand-up comedians that were known of. And also that has to do with them not being promoted too. You're not hearing about these people unless you're going out to live comedy all the time. They weren't getting these platforms promoting them.
Marcus, they don't mess with us and they don't live amongst us. So their comedy cannot hit us because they don't fuck with us.
And that's what I was, like he literally was like, they go and talk to Spike Lee. For one, Spike Lee has been on the side of Knicks games since probably before I was born. Well, maybe not before I was born. Not on the sidelines anyway. But literally most of my life, we're talking about over 30 years, Spike has definitely been on the sidelines of these damn games. And his back and forth with Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan has made him, like, especially in the basketball world, extremely well known. Then you factor in all his litany of movies that Spike Lee has. I get it. To white people, Spike Lee is just another director. He's a black dude. He makes some black stuff over there. But to us, Spike Lee is like Francis Ford Coppola. He's on the level with the Michael Bays and whoever big directors you have, because he's made movies for our community, for our people, when Hollywood was flipping us the middle finger. And so Spike is always going to be treasured on that grounds, definitely. There's so many stories that if it wasn't for Spike Lee, I don't feel a lot of black people would have gotten the opportunities which they've gotten in Hollywood. Without a Spike Lee, I don't think you would still be having black people as the token black guy in a movie, robber number 2, thug number 3. We'd still be playing those types of roles. I don't think you would have very many black men as being leading roles in anything now if it wasn't for somebody like a Spike Lee. So to think that you, a shock jock who was about basically fart jokes and trying to get women half naked on the air, or bringing black people on to try to just get clicks and views off of them. Not that you ever cared about us, not that you were ever trying to push for any kind of equality or rights or helping our community. He never gave two shits about us, but expects for us to be running over to go kiss his ring.
Yo, Marcus, listen, look at his quote. He says, the black players ignore him at games. The black players won't come over and say hello, but they go to Spike Lee, right? I'm just saying, you don't have to like Spike Lee, but if you were born in the 90s, early 2000s, somewhere, somebody was probably putting you on school days and to do the right thing, you know, into a lot of other...
Let's pull up Spike Lee's list. Let's pull up his list.
You know, and then look, we're talking about the NBA players he's talking about. These guys are in their mid-20s, maybe early 30s. If you go back to, if you're 22, son, you're born in 2001, and you don't know Howard Stern. You're not familiar with him. You're not familiar with Edna, okay? Look at him. Look at that picture. He looked like his name should be Edna.
Like, yo, let's go through a little rundown of this. Starts off with She Gotta Have It, 1986. School Days, 1988. Do the Right Thing, 1989. Mo Better Blues, 1990. 1992, Malcolm X. 94, Crooklyn. 95, Clockers. 95, Lumiere. I don't know that one. 96, Girl 6. 96, Get on the Bus. 97, Four Little Girls. 98, He Got Game.
Ooh, Jesus. That's a Jesus. He gave someone the name Jesus. And look, my kids to this day, they know if I say, yo, he looked like Jesus on the court, my kids know exactly who we talking about.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Correct. Ray Allen.
Oh, Summer of Sam, 1999. Kings of Comedy, the original one. Bernie Mac, Cedric Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, and Steve Harvey. 2000, Bamboozled. You remember Oh Boy the Tap Dancer? I'm forgetting his name right now.
Oh, Savion Glove? I mean,
exactly.
I think that's his name.
Yep, you're right.
Oh.
2001, Huey P. Newton. 2002, Jim Brown All-American. I don't know this movie, Trumpet, but 25th Hour. You remember that? 2004, She Hate Me, Sucker Free City. All the Invisible Children.
What's the Denzel movie? What's the Denzel bank robbing movie he has?
That's the next one on the list. 2006, Inside Man.
Inside Man, yes.
Beautiful movie. One of my favorite movies. Another one, which is highly underrated, Miracle at St. Anna. That's which brought I can't remember his name. What is his name? Laz Alonso. That's what blew him up. 2012, Red Hook Summer. Dang, what did I do? I just lost it. I just had to, but that's even. I just got to 2012. Let me go back. How do I go back? I don't know. Go for it. But that's what it was. Oh, because that was just 2012. We weren't even done yet. We wasn't even done yet. Old Boy. I don't know if you guys seen Old Boy. It's a messed up ass movie. He did the remake of Old Boy.
Yo, that shit was crazy.
Crazy. 2014.
That's for Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, yeah, where he's locked in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had the Sweet Blood of Jesus. 2015, Iraq. 2016, the Michael Jackson Off the Wall movie. 2017, Rodney King. 2018, 2018, Black Klansman. 2020, The Five Bloods. And I guess in 2020, he had David Bryan's America Utopia. You telling me that black people gonna care more about this dude, Howard Stern, then that list right there of black produced, starred in, mostly produced black movies.
And Marcus, the thing about it is, who said it? Street said it best. We had Spike Lee. Now we got dress wearing Tyler Perry. In every movie he do blow up, more he wear a dress, the bigger it does.
I mean, you go through that list. What? Really? You really think that you're in the same league to black people? It's like this. A lot of white people be like, "Man, Elvis is the GOAT." Do you think Elvis in the black community, especially during that time period, stood up to Chuck Berry? Now, to most white people, of course, Elvis is the king. Chuck Berry, oh, he's cool and all, but not to black people. Black people are gonna take Chuck Berry over Elvis any damn day.
There is no there is no choice. One doesn't exist.
Exactly. And I think there's that.
We're not, no offense to all my Dominicanos, all my friends who are Dominican. No offense, but niggas ain't Dominicans. Dominicans love Elvis. We don't. We not y'all. I guess whatever music y'all was getting, that's what like you heard and shit like that.
Elvis Crespo? That Elvis probably?
Yo. Suavemente besa. Oh, I hate that song. If I'm out and I hear Suavemente, dog, I stand still or I leave the room.
It's just because they ran it into the ground. It was a great song.
Yeah, it was a great song in 94 or 97, whatever. But in 2022 and 21 and 23, when I'm out and these niggas is playing Suave, Suave. Oh my God, I can't stand it. Don't play that shit.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff out there to listen to. I no. It's just no, heard it too much, too many times, too many places.
Yo, the Afrobeat shit is fire though, kid. That shit is like all over the place now.
That's what's up. I mean, I've been listening to some little bit of this, little bit of that. Yeah, Oxford said, "Oh, that song."
See, Atrez knows this. Atrez is saying the same shit I am. We don't want to hear that shit no more.
And then another thing you know in about Elvis is a lot of people don't notice Elvis was racist. A lot of people hear that, they're like, "Man, bump that dude."
I don't even care. I don't even care. It is what it is.
Dude, I think Johnny Cash should get more airplay than Elvis in the black community. I just don't think that like people realize, and it don't even have to be an anti-white thing, but that's one thing. It's like there's some cultural differences here. For instance, you could talk to a mostly white audience, and they'll be like, "Man, so what do you like to hunt? What's the best thing you? Oh, you like deer? Oh, I like boar hunting. Well, I like duck hunting." That conversation don't go the same in the black community. It's like, what are you talking about?
Unless you're talking about somebody in the South, right, where they do that regularly.
But
New
that's
York,
old South. A lot of the new South don't even really get down like that, unless you're just talking about out in the woods and in the Carolinas, Mississippi, Alabama,
correct,
Louisiana. A lot. I mean, a lot of them move to the cities. They're not doing all that.
No, they're not.
Got the idiots out there in the streets. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can.
This happens. Probably just revving and doing donuts in the street.
Oh wow.
We have that a lot around here. And
now, who's driving the car? Are they mostly Chicos?
Literally in my neighborhood, it's probably a fair estimate would be 98% Hispanic. where I live. I mean, and of that Hispanic, probably 75% is Mexican.
Oh shit. See, where I'm at is very mixed. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got a good mix of black. You got a good mix of black people, West Indian people, you know, white folks, you know, people from up north, people from down south, people from out west. So it's a good mix here. You know what I mean?
No, in my neighborhood that's regularly around here, probably the next door neighbor, his I guess his daughter is with a black man. And so me and him are the only two that really be around the neighborhood. And then honestly, I've been living where I live for now about, I don't know, easily like 3 years or more, and ain't no black people live where I'm at. Now I can go probably about 15 minutes to Compton or Watts. We got some there, but even in this area, California, like Long Beach probably would have the highest amount of black people still in this area, because it's gotten so expensive. A lot of the black people have dipped and went to like Nevada. You know, a lot of them dipped out and left here because it's just too expensive. Marcus Pack. Yeah, but out here Hamza's right. Compton is filled with Mexican people now. It's more Mexican people than it is black people in Compton. Would you expect that, Chris?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's changed out here. Definitely changed out here. I mean, and the thing about it is, anybody who knows me knows I'm definitely all about BIPOC, Black and Brown Alliance. But I'll tell you,
But you know what, Marcus? I would say it just depends on where you are, right? Because in New York, the Chicos, most of the time, the Chicos and the black folk, they get along most of the time. You have a few pockets here or there where they don't mess with each other, but for the most part, they rock together. And when I used to hear Black and Brown Alliance, like I would think like, oh, why does that even need to be like, why does that even need a thing? It's just normal. We all fuck with each other. Then I realized Midwest, West.
Not Midwest, West. Because
Okay.
in the Midwest, I grew up, it was never no beef between black and brown. There was never no beef. Now, when you get down to Texas, you start getting down to Houston and further south, where you start having like some towns where it's 70 to 80%, and you have more who are first generation migrant. Then you start having some of that. And then out here on the West Coast. And I found a lot of it on the West Coast. Black people have to accept some responsibility in it, because there was a lot of black people out here who was robbing undocumented people because they know that they weren't going to go to the police. And so in the 90s, that was something I've learned that was a big thing. And so that created some of the division. And then with the prison stuff, because in prison it's completely segregated. And so they get out, and now they push a lot of that prison stuff on the outside. And so that's more that black and brown division comes from. And then you had 3 strikes laws. And so some of these people who already got 2 strikes, what do? They leave and then go to the Midwest. Then they bring that oh, well, we don't fuck with the Mexicans, or we don't fuck with the Mayates. That's where all that stuff starts coming from.
You know what's funny though, Marcus? You know who don't fuck with us down here? The Brazilians down here. They don't fuck with us. They don't mess with us.
Well, I know Cubanos don't. Lighter ones don't.
The Cubans is hit or miss. It just depends. Outside of Miami, the Cubans is cool. The ones
No,
in
I'm talking about
Miami,
in Miami. I'm talking about in Miami.
the ones in Miami, they're a little weird. They're a little weird about shit, but outside of that, they're actually pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? But I will tell you, like South Florida, Deerfield, Pompano, the Brazilians, they do not do black people at all.
And I found like when I was in Jacksonville, it was basically like either you're white or you're non-white. So you can be black, Puerto Rican, Filipino, Japanese, Chinese. It don't matter. All those people are cool with each other. Yes. The beef is with you had some white people who'd be cool with some of them, but you had a big portion who was like, nah, we stick to our kind over here. And so that's what it's in North Florida. That's what I noticed more so. You don't have that same. You don't have like virtually any of that animosity. That like, and that's why for me, and especially like when I was living in Puerto Rico, I didn't run into any racism. Now I'm not saying that there's not racism in Puerto Rico. I'm not saying that at all. But I didn't run into it. So I didn't grow up with that in KC. I didn't see it while I was in the military. I didn't see it in Puerto Rico. I didn't see it in North Florida. So for me, when I got out here to the West Coast and I started running into it, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is I had to learn to adjust because it's definitely a division out here. Hamza says Hamza's in Arizona. South Carolina was the most bigoted place I ever lived. I believe
Hamza, the Suns look like they in trouble, kid. Denver gonna get rid of them. That's what it look like.
Yes, that's
and Marcus, the Lakers about to get rid of the Warriors too.
Man, that ain't happening.
The Lakers about to get rid of the Warriors. You watch.
Man, if so, you have everybody at my job will be happy. Nothing but heavy Laker. I'm in a heavy Laker area. Heavy Laker area. Like, they're so heavy Laker. If you even be like, well, I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he's pretty good. What, you're a Clipper fan now? What? You Clippers?
Sorry, I was just trying to pull it up on my phone so I get the like button.
Thomas said, I've noticed that white or light-skinned Latinos from Latin America flee to Florida, escaping leftist or indigenous revolutions. LOL. That's why Florida is so conservative and pro-CIA. Well, a lot of people don't know. In particular, with Cuba, you had a lot of those. There was a lot of racism that was going on in that time, and there was a big division between the capitalist side with Batista, and Batista. He ran everything very, very racist. He was very, very anti-black, especially for darker Cubanos. And you had Castro and Che. You had Castro and Che Guevara, which were about trying to uplift those impoverished Black and indigenous people more. And so when the revolution happened, a lot of those wealthier, very, very fair skinned or white Cubanos fled to keep their money. And that's why a lot of them are still, in actuality, you see that same dynamic through most of Latin America. And that's because when the Spaniards were starting to leave, one of the things they started doing is they started.
Because you read that comment.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good one, Jason. A lot of people don't know that Spain was importing a lot of white people from Europe. They were like, "Yo, we'll pay your way. Come on. We need to try to balance off to stave off all these Black and brown people." And so that's how you had a lot of the lighter Latinos now who are in charge. Now, some of them have mixed with the people. And so now, okay, they got a little bit of indigenous, they got a little bit of white European, but that's the reason why you still have that white supremacist narrative going on and being pushed in South America. And also that goes to the colorism stuff too, because white supremacy found a way to uphold itself in every aspect. And so they were still keeping power because the Spanish and Portuguese didn't have big numbers. So what did they do? Let's bring in some of these Brits and some of these people from Denmark. And why do you think going into some of that Mexican music that you hear? Well, what is the thing? The accordion. Why do you think you hear accordions and some of these weird instruments in some of the music? It comes from these European settlers who came into the country, and they were the wealthy ones, and that's the music they listened to. So as the impoverished people got money, they wanted to do like the rich people. And so that's why a lot of that music, that's where those styles of music come from basically a lot of Germans. Yeah.
I know, it's like it's one thing to be a descendant of slaves. It's another thing to be a descendant of people who ain't got no swag. It's kind of crazy.
That's one thing. I'm like, I give it to Mexicans. They got, as far as the Latinos, Mexicans have the food game on lock. Yeah, I'm like, okay, y'all win. We won't even try to fight y'all. Y'all got way more dishes. No mas. We lose. Sacabo. But when it comes to the music side, y'all literally have the shittiest music. It's because y'all taking the corniest people's music out of Europe and trying to make it your own. Literally the corniest people's music.
That mariachi shit is loud and annoying. I can't even front. The Mexican restaurants I go to, they be having that shit on speaker and a live band, and I have to sit in the back of the restaurant because it's just too loud. And that shit is corny. I'm sorry, it just is.
Like, dude, if I open my door, you would hear these loud ass hyenas next door singing karaoke super loud.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, let me think of a lyric real quick. The streets you talking about, patience. Be like,
Marcus, you need to come. Marcus, you need to come down. Oh yeah,
that kind of shit is like.
Yo, Marcus, you need to come down here. I'm just gonna email you plane tickets, and then you just make that shit work.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been trying to figure out the time, but I mean, I got the vacation.
I'm just gonna send you two. I'm gonna send you 2 plane tickets, and then you make it work. That's it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I need a vacation. Don't y'all agree? Wouldn't y'all like to see Political Matrix with me and Chris down there side by side?
I'd be fire. No streets, LA corny. Down here is better. I'm telling you, there's more freedom.
LA is corny. No,
and LA is packed and all that other shit. Nah, we can get around and move and shake out here.
You're funny, Thomas.
I heard Thomas. I see Thomas. But anyway, Marcus, we at 3:30 now. It's 2:10.
Oh yeah. Again, I don't know. I got a video that I'm gonna do to Spanish speaking audience in particular too on TikTok. So you guys want to hear me deliver a very somber and serious message of unity in Spanish? I'll probably share it on YouTube also, but I decided that I want to push you. What you want to see in the world, it's up for you to put that out into the world. And so
that's a fact.
I don't see anybody pushing that narrative. I do see some people like, you know what? I gotta play this real quick. Hold on. If I can find it real quick, because you was talking about you was just talking about what was it, brown people, right? Listen to what your boy Paul Mooney said.
I'm Spanish. All my Puerto Rican friends. I'm Spanish. I said, what'd you say, nigga? I don't know about the space program, but I know a nigga when I see one. Don't get it twisted. You speak Spanish. You have Spanish blood, but you are a nigga because of slavery. And some of you are slow. You're thinking, oh, that can't be right. Let me prove it to you. What am I speaking? English. Do I look like Queen Elizabeth? I have English blood in me because of slavery, but I'm a nigga. Don't get the shit twisted. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, ain't nothing but niggas that can swim. No, the Cubans know. You got Cubans who look white, they ain't. Looks are deceiving. You got Puerto Ricans who look white, they ain't. You got niggas in where I'm from in Louisiana that look white, and they ain't. Looks are deceiving. All my Puerto Rican
I just wanted to play that real quick because he was basically bringing like, man, you know how many Puerto Ricans I know of that out here in certain areas you get around some white people with a tan and they'll think that they're white. You go into their DNA, their DNA be like 30% black. Let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check it. My cousin lives. Is she in Phoenix? My cousin who was in Tampa, she just moved out to Arizona. So I'll have to check. I don't know. I'll see. But I know Florida is definitely a trip that's been long overdue.
Marcus, I already told you don't have to worry about the plane tickets. I told you I could hook you up with that. So you just need to figure out the time. You only thing you'll have to pay is the taxes. Just let me know. I'll hook you up.
But you know what? I'm gonna go talk to the boss lady. We're gonna do it.
To the boss. Yeah. Go talk to the boss. See what up. Again, it's
Well,
not
I know
gonna your pocket.
school is about to be out in like a month.
Okay, yeah. Actually, down here, school is out in 18 days.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that sounds good. But we will go ahead and get up out of here. Again,
we have to let it hit 334 because if we leave it at 333, they're gonna say we devilish.
Oh Lord. Yes, Himcar said, wasn't Batista indigenous? Yes, he was. But you still got them stepping fetches. whether they're black, whether they're brown, whether they're Indian, you got them stepping fetches everywhere. Internet says Spanish, Chinese, African, possibly Taino. Yeah. Leonard told me no excuses. Got to make sure to do that trip out there. Anything? Okay, cool. But yeah, next time I'll make sure I get the check in on the Rockfin side more. I ran it a little bit more than I plan on doing. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us, who joined us live. Thank you for everybody who's going to catch us later on. Make sure, please, give a like to it. And if you are TikTok, I will say this again, please come on over. Give me some likes and follows. If y'all can follow our conversations for 2-3 hours, then y'all definitely can listen to a 10-minute or less video. But thank you, everybody. Much love to all y'all.
Peace out, everybody. Thank y'all for coming through.